A man who caught Mike August collecting the TP from his shrubs this morning. Adam Carolla.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get on. The choice we're going to mandate you get it on. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for telling a friend. We love that about you, right, Gina Grad?
That's right.
Handball, Brian.
Get it however you can.
Brad Williams is our guest. Got some shows coming up tonight as you hear this through Sunday at the beautiful Irvine Improv. And you can look for all his dates at bradwilliamscomedy.com. Good to see you, Brad, fresh off your Vegas triumph.
Yeah, the first comedian ever in a Cirque du Soleil show.
Fuck yeah.
That's right. Not even wearing tights, doing straight stand-up. Not being fired out of a cannon saying wee wee. No, stand-up comedy at a Cirque du Soleil show.
Where do they get the cast for those people? I mean, they're all like great gymnasts in college and didn't quite make the Olympic team.
I will say this about being the first comedian ever in a Cirque du Soleil show. The show is called Mad Apple. It's at the New York. It's still going on. It's a wonderful show. You should absolutely go see it, even though I'm not in it till hopefully 2023 when I make my return. But one thing about being the first comedian in a Cirque du Soleil cast is you have to be completely content with being the ugliest person in the show.
Oh, yeah.
You just walk in and everyone's just looking at you like, all right, where'd we get Quasimodo over here?
Yeah, because you got the two twin brothers who always do those feats of strength things where they put their thumb on the other one's sternum and then slowly go into a handstand and they're completely chiseled.
We have two guys from Ethiopia who juggle each other with their feet.
Right.
It's called the Icarian Games. That's the official title of it. It's called Holy Shit. That's what it's called.
Somebody should really, we don't really recognize this, but like when I used to be a boxing coach and ran these boxing classes at Bodies in Motion, my work was my workout.
Yeah.
Everyone else goes and sits around and eats in air conditioning all day, and then they go home and they got to wrestle with themselves. You know what I mean? But when your work is your workout, you're getting paid, you're getting laid, and your nerves ain't frayed.
By the way, good God, were they getting laid? It was like, and then there's this other guy in the show. His name is Valentine. I don't know how you find this photo of this guy, Chris. His name is Valentine. He's a Russian hand balancer in the show. So he's on top of essentially a replica Empire State Building. He's balancing on his hands, doing tricks just on his hands. The show starts off. He comes down from the ceiling. He takes off his shirt. That gets an applause break.
Yeah.
The guy has muscles on muscles. I've written jokes. Other guys are training, doing gymnastics. He takes off his shirt. Straightest guy in the audience is like, oh, I totally would.
What?
By the way, they're right.
My only solace is I can take some solace, I guess, in knowing that, and at least thinking, oh, these guys are gay. They're never going to use their superpowers on women.
Right.
They're all gay. But they're not.
For you.
I wish I could confirm that. That they are straight as the day is long, and
they have their pick of anyone in that audience.
Anyone in the audience, anyone in the entire Cirque family. Because like they all just kind of date each other because when you're a physical specimen,
nobody else is good enough.
That's all you do is date other physical specimen. The juggler is hot. There's a juggler named Francois who is. He's French, obviously. So he's got the French accent, and he comes up and he talks like this, and he's got the 12-pack, and he's like, "Oh, I thought this is just normal. You are just born with these." No,
it's so funny.
You haven't even started about like the Russian ballerinas that are doing aerial fabric.
Oh, you mean Danila, who's from Brazil, who does the hair hang?
Oh, wow.
She hangs from her hair. She spins in a circle, and I go to her, and I say, hey, Danila, like, I'm in the show. You're in the show. You can tell me the secret, right? Like, what do they do? How do they rig it? And she just stares at me like I'm a moron and goes, I hang from my head.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a magic trick.
It's not a magic trick.
She
hangs from her fucking
funny.
head.
When you were talking about everyone having sex with everyone, I immediately thoughts ran right before you said juggler to my old friend Philip the Juggler, who's a good-looking single dude, and he would get booked to play. God, where would he go? Let's say he would go to Caesar's Palace.
Yeah.
This is back before he was playing Branson. He'd go out to Caesar's Tahoe for 5 weeks.
Yeah.
And it was just him and then the dancers.
Oh boy.
And you had to figure out what
Cock
to
of the
do
walk.
during the day. It's like, we're going to the lake. We're doing some sunbathing.
We're renting a boat. We're just
doing
going out
topless
and-
sunbathing.
yeah.
That's what we're doing.
my God.
And the last act, because the hot chick stayed, the acts rotated.
Sure.
Sure.
The last act was a gay bird act.
Oh boy.
They had no use for that guy. Then Philip shows up.
Just say a
Then it
bird act.
becomes a battle. Right. Now there's 7 chicks battling over who's going to get the fresh meat.
He lived a good life.
You know what?
That's a good deal.
He wasn't on this earth for a long time, but here for a good time,
That's
not
right.
a long time.
So there's just has to be just endless amounts of sex, not only between the people in the crew and the cast, but the audience members. I mean,
So then, so I lived in Henderson, Nevada, and then my wife and daughter stayed out here, but they would come out sporadically to come visit. And one time, my wife came to the show and she wanted to meet the cast, and she met our trainer.
Scouting.
Which is this guy named Casper. He speaks 5 languages. He used to be the lead in Ka.
Boy.
He's an
Another
Asian.
good Cirque show.
He's an Asian acrobat. And my wife sees him, looks at me, and goes, "I need to leave." Like,
How do you feel about that? Good for her.
I'm like,
showing respect.
yeah, get out.
You should.
I'd like to see my daughter occasionally, not just on weekends and holidays. Get out.
so
Like, he's like this perfect Asian man. I go, why? And like an idiot, I go, like, why do you need to leave? She goes, that's the man my mother wishes I married.
Boy.
so no collective group looks better in their underpants. I
None.
mean, you can talk about NBAers or football guys, but there's some interior linemen and stuff
Sure.
like that. This is everyone looks
Collectively.
fantastic in their underwear.
Yeah, they're just phenomenal, and there's a gym behind the theater. So in the middle of the show, they're still pumping iron, and I'm just sitting back. And we also have one thing that's absolutely amazing about Cirque is they have these. You have free physical therapy whenever you want. And it's great. It's wonderful. So there's these acrobats that are like doing incredible feats of human just awesomeness, and then they're like, they go in every now and then. I've got a bad back already. I took full advantage. So these acrobats would walk and be like, why is the comedian on the table for the second time today? I'd be like, I don't know. It feels great. I can walk. It's wonderful.
We, God, we're looking at
Oh,
it. It's had to be. I mean, how much time were you doing?
I was only doing 10 minutes a night, but
Oh God.
so I had a lot of time to just stare at. That's
You're the king, Brad.
We're looking at Olavo, who is also from Brazil, who's just made out of granite, and he is chucking Denise up in the air. They do an act called the Cradle. It was just it was a phenomenal thing. I love being a part of it, and it's kind of like the reason why you love musicals, Adam, where you say that's the best of us. It's music,
Yes.
it's dancing. That is same thing for Cirque. It's just
Oh, sure.
It
everything
represents, yes, it represents the greatest facets of humanity.
Yes.
First off, some broad is 12 feet in the air and upside down. She is counting
Yeah.
on the person underneath her to take care of her.
yeah.
Yeah.
Also, it's tons of repetition.
Yeah.
Just in tons of focus and tons of delayed gratification. And while
Yeah.
everyone else was going down to the mall and sucking
Yeah.
on chili dogs, you guys were at the gym and doing your thing. Like it's all, and everyone has to work in unison, and
Yeah.
and everyone from the lighting guy to the music guy to whoever's out on stage to
Yeah.
the costumer,
Yeah.
all has to do their job.
Precision.
I'm glad you brought up the lighting guy, and in this photo that they're showing, the lights are just incredible. But like everything has a cue that's perfect.
Right.
It's just perfect. The lights are going off in the exact order. It's nuts. It was a great thing to be a part of. It's funny because I kind of launched the show, and because I'm one of the only people that speaks English fluently. I was kind of doing all the press. And they kept saying like, "Oh my God, Cirque du Soleil! They put a comedian in the circus. It's groundbreaking." I'm like, they also put a dwarf in the circus. Not entirely groundbreaking.
A tale as old as time.
I'm not exactly Jackie Robinson. Okay.
Well, that does
they did
kind
the safe
of
route.
They're going to tire your number up on the strip.
kind of begs the question: is did your stature have anything to do with this gig?
I don't know. It may have. Yeah. So that's the Icarian games. That's 2 guys juggling each other with their feet. So that guy flips up in the air and he lands with foot on foot. So then he's standing on his brother. It's madness. And the band behind them is great.
Any mishaps?
Yeah, there were a few.
Oh, really?
None where anyone was. okay, so there's an act called the Wheel of Death, and
What happens there?
and a guy is essentially in a hamster wheel, and it's going around in circles, and it's unbelievable to watch. It's the closing act of the show. I'm supposed to go on right after him to kind of do a second set, but it's
He
just
runs on top of the wheel, right?
Yes,
on the outside of the wheel.
He jumps on the wheel. He jumps rope on top of the wheel.
Yeah.
It's
Adam's like, give me
incredible to
20
watch.
minutes.
Yeah, I got it. So one night he's on the ground and he does the part of the act where he grabs the wheel and it flings him up to the top of the wheel.
Right.
This time it flung and his grip let go.
Mm-hmm.
So he flew up in the air. That's the Wheel of Death.
Yeah.
He flew up in the air and then he landed on the ground. He was fine, but we didn't know he was fine.
Right.
They throw up the X sign, which is we stop the show because someone's hurt. And then I just get the note, Brad, go out there.
Tell jokes.
Right.
Tell jokes. And I'm saying, huh?
Yeah.
And so I had to go out there not knowing if my castmate, my friend is, alive.
Right.
And just kind of tell jokes for
Will
10
he ever
minutes.
be able to fuck my wife again? Brad didn't know. He went out with a heavy heart.
Yeah, bated breath.
It's and the other thing. So
Sorry, before we move from that,
He
was it your
okay,
job
by
to
the way.
calm
He's
down
fine.
the audience? Like, were they
Yeah.
starting to get crazy?
Yeah, because they didn't know what was happening. They saw kind of our trainers run off.
Right.
He walked out under his own power. He just hurt his wrist. It was a very minor injury. He was fine. But so I kind of had to. I said, well, that's like when they call it the Wheel of Death. It's
Yeah.
appropriately named, So, but it's just madness because
They don't have any spotters or anything, do they? Like at cheerleading camp when you're going to do the crazy thing.
They're underneath.
There's a spotter there.
There's a pad underneath the Wheel of Death, but it's
Oh, a pad?
It's for show. And the Wheel of Death guys, they kind of explain it to me where they go, the pad is for show. If I fall off this thing, I'm not going to fall where that pad is. I'm going to fall somewhere else. And that's just how it is.
So it's just litigiously speaking, the theater can say we had a pad down or whatever.
Yeah. But I say all that saying Cirque is incredibly focused on safety. For what these people do every night. There's Jose
Skipping rope.
I
guess.
So my line after Jose fell was I walked out there and I went, all right, ladies and gentlemen, that's Jose. He does the Wheel of Death. It's absolutely incredible. We're lucky to have him. Jose was on the Wheel of Death. Mexicans really do all the jobs that nobody else wants to do.
That's right.
And that got a solid chuckle from the audience. But
Were they sold out every night?
pretty darn close, and that's a 1,200 seat theater.
Wow.
Damn.
It's where Zumanity used to play, and now it's Mad Apple. Once again, I'm not there anymore. I'm at the Irvine Improv this weekend. The early show Friday and the early show Saturday are already sold out, so get your tickets now. But if you're in Vegas, by all means, please check out Mad Apple. They're my friends, they're my coworkers, and they put on a hell of a show.
Well, speaking of comedy, somebody called in earlier when I was doing the Dr. Drew and Adam Carolla show, and as people know, I like to answer the phone by saying, "Hi, guy."
Sure.
And it's all derivative of this commercial from the 70s about Air It Extra Dry. I think it was underarm deodorant. The guy would open the medicine cabinet, and the other guy would be standing on the other side of it as if your medicine cabinet was a window to your next door neighbor's apartment, and he would say, "Hi, guy." But somebody called in and pointed out that the great Ted Knight of Mary Tyler Moore fame and Too
Timely
Close for
reference for the
Comfort,
kids.
I think.
Timely
I think.
Yeah.
You guys remember
Yes.
Ted?
Yep.
But Lou, he's a perfect character in Mary Tyler Moore.
Wasn't Jim J. Baker or
Bullock.
Bullock, yeah.
He was in Too Close for Comfort.
Yeah.
Ted Knight was kind of the prototype for Ron Burgundy.
Yes, absolutely.
He was a blowhard guy. Whatever they put in the
in
prompter,
UHF.
he would just read it.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, he was in Caddyshack. He was the stuffy rich guy from. He was Ted Knight. So somebody called in and said, in the mid '70s, Ted Knight had a comedy album. And one of the bits was called "Hi Guy."
All right.
boy.
And I said, I've never
He's the we're waiting guy.
heard this.
We're waiting.
Yes, I've never heard of this. And hold on, I just said, whatever it is, it's going to be lamer than shit. Now, I don't know why you couldn't release a funny album in
Oh, is that not allowed?
1976. But I was like, it's going to be super unfunny and it's going to be super lame. And this is the Ted Knight song off the comedy album called Hi Guy. So this is the best they had to offer.
For a couple of drinks, you down a lot of juice. Two ladies give you a wink and a wave. You walk into their noose. Because when you ask their names, one says, I'm Percy, this is Bruce. Hi, guys. Hi,
I
guys.
get it.
By the way, every gay thing from the 70s is, hi, I'm Briz. Everyone was named Bruce. And every cellmate was named Bubba.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was a Simpsons joke too, where like Homer's talking about, oh, the gays, they've taken all our best names, like Bruce. Great line.
So that's the whole premise of the song.
The whole, well,
Dude looks like a lady.
well, no.
How you doing, guy?
No, because this next one, you can stop it, Dawson. The next, so it's all this. He goes in to talk to the two hot ladies, and they turn out to be dudes.
Right.
Hi, guy.
Right.
Sure.
Then he's with a lady friend in her parlor, and a dude walks in, and it's her husband.
Oh,
and he
all
goes, hi, guy, and the backups, and goes, hi, guy.
All the different ways you could say hi, guy, in an uncomfortable
there was
situation.
this weird 70s thing where it was kind of ragtimey and very burlesque and very vaudevillian,
Yeah.
but this was 76, not 23.
This
Very
is the era
Godspell.
of cabaret and
Yeah.
Victor Victoria
Yes.
and all that.
Yeah.
I got to hear more.
All right, rewind it a little bit.
Very few people know this.
Ted.
But when I used to sign off my news broadcast, I would say, hi, guy.
Ted Koppel night.
Ted Koppel, I would say, hi, guy.
When you were leaving?
And that was a nod to my homosexual lover that
Oh
I
my
met
God.
in Mexico in the 50s.
my God.
What was his name?
His name was Jose. His son now does the Wheel of Death
the Wheel
in
of
Las
Death.
Vegas.
Oh, I heard that kid took a spill. Is he all right, Ted?
Yeah, he's fine. He took a spill. Now he's okay. But man, on those cold winter nights, I can still hear Jose's voice in my ear, telling me, "Did I want the worm in the tequila?"
Oh, I get it.
euphemism.
And
Yeah.
that's what he would say, "Hi, guy," or in his native tongue, "Hola, hombre."
Oh, wow.
All right, well,
It's
let's hear a
romantic when
little
you put it
more
that
of
way.
Ted
The guy
Koppel
comes
night.
slipping right through your door with fists as big as hams. You didn't know the girl was married to a tackle on the Rams.
Hi, guy. How you doing, guy?
See you, guy.
I just announced it's going to be lame. It can't be good. It can't be funny.
Is this in that era where if you were a celebrity, you got sort of the kit of you got like, oh, okay, well, you're a celebrity, so you got to cut an album?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't sing. That's okay.
Well, we got a
You
song
got-
called Hi Guy.
Yeah, you got an album, you got a comedy album, you're going to have a tour. I don't do anything.
Jim Stafford wrote a song called Hi Guy.
Don't care.
And you're going to do it.
Yeah.
What was the last example?
The last.
I gotta hear it.
We'll keep playing it. We'll keep playing. The last was actually the only good one.
Oh. Yakety sax.
No solo.
Oh, sure.
Hey, Chris. This is a crowd pleaser.
Yeah, I
Hi
want to
Guy.
hear all of it.
I know, yeah. Let's do that.
Look, Chris, my fingers are popping.
Yeah.
That's right.
You're out in the woods when nature calls. You take the easy way. You find a tree, and when you're done, the tree is heard to say, "You just destroyed my camouflage. I'm really a green beret." Oh,
Fritzy.
Hi Guy.
You took a dump on a green beret.
Sorry, guys.
Hi Guy.
And he broke character after you peed on him?
Yeah. Not when you took it out, not when you started. Okay. Man,
Well, that was the best offering.
when
was
I
the
hear
Green
stuff
Beret.
like this, I don't know if you think this way, Adam. I just go, why wasn't I a comedian in the 70s and 80s?
Yeah.
When the bar was so low before like Sam Kinison came along.
Yeah, you guys are
Don't
working
act
too
like
hard.
you're not impressed.
you needed a kind of a calling card.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like
Gimmick.
yeah, like the craziest one was Ray J. Johnson Jr. We've talked about. He'd show up on the natural light commercials and
Oh,
the
it's
beer
catchy.
commercials. And do you remember
Call
that
me
guy's
Ray?
bit?
You can call me Jay.
Yeah, there was nothing.
Yeah.
You know Ray J. Johnson Jr.? His whole thing was like someone come up to him and touch him on the shoulder and go, "Hey Ray, mind if I?" "Oh, he doesn't have to call me Ray." It was all, by the way, weird 20s radio
Yeah, it was
shit
like
like we just
vaudevillian.
heard.
Al Jolson.
And you doesn't have to call me Jay. And you doesn't have to call me Ray J. And you don't have to call me J Ray. And but you can't call me Ray. And that was his bit.
That's the most annoying guy ever at a party.
But also, like, what is he? Was he touring around? And, Brad and I go around.
Yeah.
You got to put up 55, 60 minutes. Was
Yeah.
it, well, he doesn't have to call me Johnny. Like, that's 18 seconds.
He just goes through a baby name book and he just reads it the whole time.
And he doesn't have to call me Ronnie.
95% of these songs start with a vocal dialogue lead up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
All
let's
right,
find
we'll
out.
play Ray J. Johnson Jr.
Give me an Anheuser-Busch Natural Light.
Just say natural.
You see, you doesn't have to call it Anheuser-Busch Natural Light, and you doesn't have to call it Anheuser Natural, and you doesn't have to call it Busch Natural. Just say natural.
Johnson's right.
Oh, you can call me Ray, or you can call me Jay, or you can
For
call
a
me
great
This is a
tasting
major
light, just say
campaign.
But you doesn't have to call me Johnson.
2 naturals, please.
natural. Please don't ask him his name.
Name? You can call me Ray. or
Is
you
the
can
joke
call-
that he's mentally
Everything
disabled?
was
Yeah.
rhythm oriented. It was patter oriented. It wasn't content. You couldn't read the script of the bit and go,
Right.
"Oh, this is some funny stuff."
That guy got laid.
Oh yeah,
Please.
That's the thing.
yeah. When the hat and the mustache came off, that meant it was business time for the
I
ladies.
take this hat off for 3 things.
That's right, Burt Reynolds.
Is the joke that like he's an alcoholic?
I
don't think it's a joke, Jim.
What you would do is you would
You're giving
do.
it way too much credit.
I just
You
don't
would-
understand it.
It was kind of like the Macarena. Like it was this sound, and you could do it and say it, and so
Yeah.
kids could show up to the schoolyard and all the time, and you
Right.
go, "Hey, Bobby, come in." Hey, he doesn't have to call me Bobby. Like
Yeah.
that was our entertainment.
It's
my
the
God.
it's the comedic form of Lou Bega's Mambo Number 5.
Right,
I'm
right.
just listing women's names.
Back when I was like 5 years old, every adult male in my life at one time or another would say, "You can call me Ray or you can call me Jay."
So it's
it's
stuck.
like the "What's up?"
That is
Yeah,
exactly what I
it
was
is.
about to say. It's
It wa-
those guys.
They came up with a weird little thing. It caught on, and then they got booked, and they would show up on the Dean Martin roast, and they would show up on the Dinah Shore show, and they'd just and they'd be a Hollywood Square, and they'd just show up, and they'd have their outfit, and their fedora and stuff, and they just played this weird character, and no one really knew what their material was.
I don't like
No.
And then they would get like stunt cast in sitcoms and movies and stuff like that. But no one ever knew what they did.
They would end up on Gilligan's Island somehow.
Right.
Like they just go they go on every sitcom of the time.
But I was
Madness.
I was talking about it with Dr. Drew, and I was like, he said, "Oh, I got this Ted Knight comedy album from 1976." Now, I like Ted Knight. I loved him on Mary Tyler Moore and
Sure.
many movies, but soon as I heard it, I just went lame.
Yeah.
It's going to be goofy.
Yeah.
It's going to be horrible. It won't be like, it's a 6.5. It'll be hackneyed junk, which I don't know why. He's a star. He's got comedic writers. He's working with producers. Why does it have to be shit? Because it was the 70s.
And
Is
it was
the
good
answer.
enough.
It's like if someone said, I want to sell you a car. It's a 1977. I'm out. I don't care what the fuck you say next.
Stop right
It could be John Lennon's Rolls Royce. I'm out.
Yeah.
Like,
Save you
it,
some time.
it was just such a shit decade for so much art, and then so much good. There were so many great movies that came out of it, and there's so much pure shit.
Yeah, there was no middle ground in the mid 70s.
But then I thought about it. Brad's going to have to think about this.
Okay.
Once we fast forward, I don't know, 50 years and we're all dead, and a man show bit comes up, or
Oh,
Brad
boy.
Williams stands best and go, "Oh, shit.
Here we go.
Shit. I didn't have to hear
You're
it."
little.
At least we could say, no, you don't understand. It was groundbreaking at the time.
But it also reminded me, I don't know when's the last time we played Masculout? We played that in a
been a
while
long
on the
time.
show.
Wait, what?
Drew just
Man show
spit
bit.
out a man show bit that he loves.
I don't-
Oh, was
That-
that it gets out the stains?
Protein
Yes,
stains.
I had nothing to do with the bit. It was not my idea. I didn't write it. I wasn't in it. But I hadn't thought about it in a million years, and he brought it up, and I was like, "Oh yeah," and we watched it, and it's now Masculout is 20 some odd years old.
Yeah.
So the question is it going to be funny 50 years from now, or is it going to be shit? I think it'll hold up, but I think we should we should watch it.
Wait, what are we
Grimace?
watching here?
I don't know what we're watching.
There's Grimace. There's
Captain
my,
Hook?
There's my friend Artie.
Colonel Sanders?
You're going to throw to the clip.
We'll throw the clip. Here
Oh,
we
I
go.
see.
Billy! Not my favorite sweater. I love my men. But when it comes to laundry, there's one thing I can do without. Protein stains. Those frustrating protein stains. Those embarrassing
Sokka
protein
stuck her back.
You need new Masculout.
Masculite?
Protein delivered at high velocity can adhere to fibers, but Masculout crystals penetrate deep into fabric to remove even the toughest protein stains.
Sounds great. But can it clean this protein stained sweater?
Just look. We stained 2 identical sweaters with protein.
Oh my God.
Threw them in a hamper for
What
3
champagne?
weeks.
What
Then
shampoo
treated
did
one
you
with
use?
Masculout, the
Pantene?
other with the leading brand.
The Masculite sweater is clean. But the other one.
Oh, the dog's licking it.
Mom, I got protein on my jeans.
You hit the shower, mister. I'll grab the Masculite.
Masculout Protein Stain Remover. Shoot it in every load.
Perfect.
Fun.
It's a great bit.
And she sells that shit.
Gonna hold up in 50 years though, or is it gonna be hi guy,
God, I hope
Masculout?
so. But and then knowing what I know about writers' rooms, I know that protein stains was what you had to say. Like you, that
You
wasn't the
settled for
original
it.
script.
Right.
It was like come on out or something like that, and then
You know what? You're right, though, because those are going to be the kind of jokes that are going to be made on whatever the equivalent of network family viewing TV is in 50 years. So it'll seem soft when it's most certainly not.
But it won't be like almost any movie or almost any song or almost any comedy album of the 70s where you just go, it's shit.
It was shit then.
Shit in advance.
Yeah.
It was shit then. And it made its rounds. I was told it was played on Dr. Demento.
Of course it was.
With Weird Al.
I referenced a Man Show bit just the other day. The thing about the guys that come in when you die and scrub all your internet stuff and scrub your apartment.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's called Rest Assured.
Yeah.
That's my bit. I wrote that bit, but
timeless bit.
I could never come up with a good name for it. So it always haunted me.
The one line in The Man Show that will always haunt me, yet be one of my favorites, is, "You mean you race them?" I don't.
That wasn't the Man Show.
What?
That
the 1780s guy.
That was a late night show I was doing, and that was
did you
1780s guy.
You didn't do 1780s guy on Man Show? Oh,
No.
Around years later.
Oh,
No,
I
it was
always put them together in my head.
a couple years. Well, you can find
God,
that.
that one is fucking crazy.
That was a good bit because the guy was good. He's passed away, but the premise was good in that I never explained anything to 1780s guy. We only got his reaction after I explained it to him, and he always had a wild, of course, misinterpretation of what we were actually trying to accomplish.
Great. That's going to be some version of, like you say, in 50 years. Like, no, there was this dwarf comedian named Brad Williams. I'll be like, they let it tell jokes? Why'd they do that?
All right, let me hit Simply Safe.
They didn't harvest his stem cells like we do now?
We'll see if we can find that 20-second bit. Simply Safe. Does anything matter more than the safety of you and your loved ones? Well, of course not. But how come so many security companies don't act that way? I trust and recommend Simply Safe. Peel and stick. Batteries last up to 10 years. No pulling wires, no drilling holes, no crawling around in the underpinning or the attic. 24/7 professional monitoring. Simply Safe's agents dispatch police or first responders the moment a threat is detected, even if you're not at home and can't be reached. Just $1 a day, no long-term contract or hidden fees. Customize the perfect system for your home in just a few minutes at simplysafe.com/Adam. Go there today for free indoor security camera. Plus, you get 20% off with interactive monitoring. So go to Simply Safe. There's 2 I's in there. simplysafe.com/Adam and go today and get the free indoor security camera plus the 20% off interactive monitoring. Do we have that 1780s guy?
Yeah,
it'll tell you what the topic is at the beginning.
And
They race them?
We got to fix the. We'll fix the audio on it.
And I love you go, I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's disgusted.
Oh, God. Yeah, let's just watch a bunch of them.
They're on the internet. You can get caught up and watch like 13 of them in a row.
Mm-hmm.
I like spinners.
And now, Adam explains to 1780s guy. The Special Olympics.
And they race them? I don't.
It's disgusting.
That was Adam explains the Special Olympics to 1780s guy.
Oh, God.
All right. We'll take a quick break. Back with more Brad right after this.
It's time for Nicaraguan Name That Movie with Adam's buddy Oswaldo. See if you can guess which movie this famous line is from.
Help me, help you.
If you said Jerry Maguire,
Help me, help you.
you're correct. Now, back to the show.
Jeez, what happened to that Cruise kid? He showed so much promise in that movie, and it's like he just fell off a cliff.
Faded away.
Booze, divorces.
Probably.
I don't know. My favorite 1780s, Chris, you're going to have to look for is either, I think it's custom rims, but it could be spinner rims, but we'll figure that out. So got a question up there. I was, I don't know, somehow I was looking up something on the internet, and somehow I got pushed toward Greg Giraldo doing a roast.
The
you know
best.
that thing on the internet
Absolute
where you're
best.
like you're looking for car parts or something, and next thing you know you're staring at Greg Giraldo doing roast jokes.
Story of my life.
And it's like you watch the one and you go, oh yeah, that guy's so
He's
funny.
great.
And I remember doing roast with him back in the day. And then the next thing is like he's been dead for 12 years.
Wow.
He
That's
died
scary.
in 2010. And then I stumbled into his roast of Flava Flav. And they're all great. Like Greg was, I don't know if we call him underrated, underappreciated.
A comedian's comedian, like not as mainstream.
Definitely underappreciated. I remember I started doing comedy, and then I went and saw Greg Giraldo on like a Thursday night at the Bray Improv, and he wasn't sold out, and that depressed me because I'm like, how is this guy, this guy not sold out? And he just never. He never got the due, and he always went first at the roasts because they wanted to always start strong. And just an absolute legend.
Well, let's watch, I don't know, a couple of minutes of it just because it made me laugh.
Jesus Christ.
It was brutal.
Non-stop.
Funny shit. Oh, you can find him roasting me, too, on there somewhere. I think it was, there's another roast.
Was it Hef?
Hey, there's a weird... It's an interesting part of life, you know what I mean? So you're sitting there, it's midnight, having a drink, watching a little Heart to Heart or something, unwinding. And I'm looking, somebody tweets me some joke or something. I hit it and I look at it, and the next thing you know, there's Greg Giraldo underneath it. And I'm like, roast, yeah. And then you hit it and you're like, oh shit, Flava Flav, that's funny as shit. And then you look at the next one, and at some point, I'm watching him roast a 36-year-old version of me, but I'm still sitting in my underpants in my living room, and I'm like, oh, I'm in this phone. He's roasting me.
That's gotta feel fucking weird.
It's weird because I was just wanting to look at him roast others and kind of go, God damn, I hate to be on the fucking losing end of Greg Giraldo. Like, you don't want to be on the business end of Greg Giraldo. And 20 minutes later, I'm watching me getting roasted by him. It's a unique celebrity experience. I don't think most Americans would have that happen.
Do you think the same thing happens when Peter North watches porn?
Yeah, he's just scrolling.
I'd like to fuck her. I did fuck her.
I did fuck her.
I am fucking her. Look at me.
She's here right now. Calls are coming from inside the house.
Yeah, it was surreal in that I'm aware of the fact that I have participated in roast, and I'm aware of the fact that I've talked to Greg about the roast and jokes and things like that. But I was looking at through the eyes of babes. I was just any citizen of the United States just enjoying this late great comedian at the height of his powers, and next thing I'm watching a 35-year-old version of myself.
It's pretty fucking weird.
No, you got the last laugh.
I remember this one. Oh, Brian.
He stayed on me for a while.
Why are you on TV? I don't know why I'm coming back to you, but why? Why are you on TV with that moon face and that stupid cleft in your chin? Or as you call it, Adam Carolla's jizz cup?
He's talking to Jimmy.
Sarah said
Carolla, look at you, you horse-toothed bastard. Carolla, you got a mouthful of 2x4s. Every time you smile, I remember to waterproof my deck. Carolla's an Italian word. It means one eyebrow.
Ooh,
Have
Anna
some
Nicole.
dignity and stick to radio. You look like Pete Sampras with Down syndrome.
I pointed at Jimmy. I was like, that's Jimmy's joke.
He's not taking credit for it.
The Love Lines. Only in America. What a crappy show The Love Lines is. Yeah, teenagers calling in to complain about their abortions and their anal warts. It's like listening to the messages on Andy Dick's answering machine.
Anna Nicole Smith in the audience.
Yep.
Yeah.
Speaking of anal warts, good to see Courtney Love here.
All right. I'm just sitting around my bathrobe. Now he's roasting me.
That's
the thing about
intense.
Greg that I love is he'll have these insanely well-crafted, clever jokes, and then some of the ones that hit me are just when he says, "Adam Carolla, you horse-toothed bastard."
Yes.
Like he just goes for a simple, like Ice-T, you fucking fossil.
Yeah.
He does incredibly complex and incredibly simple at the same time.
Yes, he does like really evolved soliloquies, and then the other would just be the equivalent of a kick-ass logo, just short and sweet, and man, you remember it. Yeah. And you respond to it even though you don't know why you're responding to it.
Yeah.
Spools of thread was so perfect because he could have just said, how much thread would it take to
Right.
But how many spools of thread is just that perfect.
Yeah.
The way the perfect way to phrase it.
He was an attorney and like a Wall Street guy.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, he had a really interesting kind of background and then just sort of went into comedy from like Wall Street. I think it was Wall Street, or he worked for some big firm and he was an attorney. I think he's either a money guy, an attorney guy.
Wow.
Either way, a really intelligent guy, and you could tell by the way he wrote.
But that's the thing. You could tell.
He was in Harvard Law.
Oh shit!
Jesus.
Well, he's a smart dude. But
but
he's a comedian's comedian because none of the rest of us knew who he was until we saw him on a roast. Everybody else, he was already vetted.
Yeah. Achieved a near perfect LSAT score in the 99th percentile. So he was super smart. And then I think drugs was kind of his demise. I don't know what his weapon of choice was, but that's what did him in.
It's also sad when I watch those roast videos because you inevitably get to the point where you think, oh, could we do that today? Would they let the roast? Like, I don't think they'd put it on Comedy Central, because it's not a rerun of Friends or The Office. But they maybe on YouTube or something.
Well,
but that's about it.
My favorite joke of yours about Sean Hayes didn't make the cut.
Yeah,
for Alec Baldwin. That's my favorite one.
Well, then I'm compelled to do it.
Please.
Sean Hayes, gay guy from Will and Grace. Sean Hayes, Will and Grace, by the way, back on the air. So, Sean, quite a comeback. Incidentally, comeback was Sean's nickname in high school, on account of that's where the lacrosse team finished.
That's solid.
Yeah, they cut my art.
Oh,
they cut my
hurts.
art.
It really hurts.
Had to watch that with my son.
Oh God!
And he looked at me.
How disappointing.
He said, "Papa, where are the cum jokes?" I said, "Son, life ain't fair.
Yeah.
Fucking get used to it."
Yeah. Shake your hand at the man.
Yeah, they're gonna take a surgeon's scalpel to all your great cum jokes.
But see, I think the roast is a perfect example of why we shouldn't be censoring comedy, because it's the most unfiltered, most unrestricted. But I never think for 1 second that not everyone on that stage isn't getting along.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like, you're all making fun of each other in the worst possible way, like you do with your friends.
Maybe not Cat Williams.
Sometimes Carrot Top.
But yeah, you're right. It's a good metaphor for sort of how we should conduct ourselves politically and from a societal standpoint.
And everyone gets it that every roaster is just trying for the joke. That's all they're trying to do is tell a joke. Very, very simplistic. Did it work? Did it not work? Nothing like, well, when he says that, what is he what community is he talking
really
about
mean?
and really mean? Is it really a representative of his thoughts? No. Is it funny?
When
that is
I
all.
started watching those in whatever high school or whatever it was, Lisa Lampanelli is the reason I know how to take a joke.
Yeah.
Watching her on the roast being like, damn, that was harsh, and she's laughing harder than anyone. She was my role model for not being thin-skinned.
It takes the power away.
Yeah.
It completely takes the power away when someone insults you and you just laugh, and if you can tag the joke that they just told about you, then what do they have?
There's nothing left.
They got nothing. It's
Also,
perfect.
why give them the satisfaction of breaking down when they're
Never.
making jokes about you?
Sure.
Chris wrote something on my screen, then did my least favorite thing, which is take it off. But I don't know why that is. I was interested in that story.
Okay. So the story is Greg Giraldo provided pro bono defense counsel for Jeff Ross in '93, who was charged with inciting a riot. A guy pulled out a toy gun, and Jeff grabbed it and got in a fight with the guy for control, and Jeff was arrested.
Jeff was arrested?
So Ross went to court to face the charges. Greg volunteered to be his attorney. They slept in his parents' basement in Queens. And Jeff said it took him 2 tries, but he got the case dismissed. The reason I deleted it from your screen, Adam, was because then Greg went and said, actually, we had to get a real lawyer afterwards. So I didn't want.
But he still showed up.
He still
with them.
showed up.
Yeah.
And did his business.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
See that's one thing I'll never have to worry about. If someone from the audience goes, Brad Williams wrestled the item away from me, everyone will be like, no, why didn't you just hold it over your head?
Shoelace.
There's nothing he can do.
That's right.
He took the thing. No, he didn't.
You just put it in your breast pocket.
Yeah.
And Brad's out of ideas.
You were fine. Unless he had some of those stairs that you put next to the bed for your
the dog.
For your
Yeah.
dachshund. He's screwed. He's not getting up there.
Tom's got a friend who loves the show who's a blind mountain bike rider. Tom, 37.
Yeah, that's right, Adam. How's it going?
Hi, guy. Hi, guy.
My guy, what's happening?
Yeah, you got a friend who rides a mountain bike and is blind?
Yeah, actually, now that he's married, he doesn't ride so much anymore. What's more interesting, though, is, we have a perceptual development company together where we teach all kinds of individuals, predominantly sighted individuals, about perceptual development. I know you've had a number of Navy SEALs on over the years. You've had Jocko, I think Mark, and a couple of others. They've had some really interesting things to say about their training and their training and development.
Describe that field.
What does it mean exactly?
Perceptual development. We help people use their senses better. What's really interesting, during COVID, the human race suffered a drastic change to all of their senses. It's been more drastic than in any other period in
Mostly
human
taste
history.
and smell.
Sure.
The way we see, taste, smell, and touch have all been affected by the pandemic.
Tom's looking for a modest investment.
I want to hear about the mountain biker.
I know. He's like, the blind mountain biker. That's not important. Perceptual. No, I want to know about the blind fucking mountain biker.
I'm with
The
Brad.
thing that nobody else can do. And we're all wondering how the hell does he do it? Focus on the blind mountain biker.
What's also interesting, a few weeks ago, we were in Los Angeles filming with a crew from Finland. And we were teaching this crew, basically the host of the show.
How to blind mountain bike? Because that's what I want to know.
He's laser focused.
No. we were doing blindfolded hockey.
Okay.
Oh,
That's
okay.
dangerous, but
All
I
right,
like
you
it.
got me back.
But Tom, the screen says you have a friend who's a blind mountain biker, which was initially why I was attracted to your call. I think Brad has made himself clear in his desire to hear about the blind mountain biker, and I think he speaks for the audience.
That's how I opened up. I opened up with that because that's kind of interesting, and that's what seems to get people's attention.
Yes,
always,
and that's all he has to say about
That's
it.
what I want to hear more about. When you're like, it's the dwarf who can dunk a basketball on a 10-foot rim.
But let's not worry about that.
Now let me talk to you about aluminum siding.
Yeah.
No, I want to hear about the dwarf that can dunk on a 10-foot rim.
No, it's substantially much more impressive. because Brian taught blind students all around the world, this skill that he has.
Hold on. You know what I find interesting?
We're our first round of investigation.
He's this guy.
Hello, sharks.
He's a guy who tunes up Green Berets so they can be more tuned in and perceptive.
Yes.
Yet we've screamed at him 13 times to tell us about the fucking guy on the mountain bike, and he won't do it.
He's not biting on it.
He's not getting.
He just keeps getting back.
Tuned in verbally.
Right.
To what we're asking for.
Yeah. And we're not being subtle. Brad isn't.
Right. All right. Tom.
Sure. I was listening to some of your show as I was waiting for you to take the call here, and I think a drink or two loosened up a little bit before the call.
I get it, but I've had a drink or two, and I'm able to answer direct questions.
Especially when they're screamed at me.
Have you had a drink or two? And is this your vehicle? And could you step out of it, sir?
Do you know the alphabet?
Have your license?
Yeah, I would. So if somebody asked me to step out of the vehicle, I wouldn't go, "We got a camera crew in from Finland."
I started off this show talking about a guy on the wheel of death. I didn't go to.
Very succinct.
And let me tell you, how can I get you into a timeshare?
Yeah,
I didn't go to that.
It's a little bit of a bait and switch.
Yeah.
So you have a friend.
I'm selling some other stuff too. Don't worry. I haven't even gotten into sales pitch.
Oh, no.
Oh,
All
my
right.
God.
All right. Tom, you now have 7 seconds to launch into a story about a blind mountain biker, or we shall hang up.
I'll tell you about 3 blind mountain bikers that went on a 2-day camping trip.
When does that start?
That happened maybe 8 or 9 years ago now.
All right. How'd it go?
It went fantastic. They're working on a screenplay about the whole adventure right now.
Oh, there you go.
Lead with that!
Yes.
Let me tell you about another interesting one. My buddy Ben Felton in
didn't tell us about that
Australia,
one.
he's the only individual in the world who's 100% blind, and he's licensed by MotoGP to race motorcycles, and he's good.
Compelling and rich.
Wow. MotoGP. So he's on an asphalt track.
Big time. Yep. And he's racing against other riders. He says, Tom, my favorite thing is getting on the bike, starting the race, knowing that there's other racers next to me, and I feel like one of them, he's completely blind.
How is he?
Now, who else has got some story?
Does he have a spotter?
He has a spotter that's talking to him through a walkie-talkie.
Right, so you would just say yes.
He spends a great deal of time, though, however, studying the track before he races.
I would imagine.
He says, Tom, I see it in my mind.
All right, what's this guy's name? We want to look up a video.
Yeah, more him.
What's the guy's name?
They're able to do the same thing.
Next story.
They can put a blindfold on and do simulators, and some even go out on the track, and it's quite fantastic what they're able to do.
Tom, what's your friend's name?
My friend's name is Brian Bushway, the one in Los Angeles. The one in Australia, his name is Ben Felton.
Got it.
Okay.
We're good.
The MotoGP guy's Ben Shelton?
Ben Felton, Felton.
Felton.
Or Felton. All right.
I've just sucked 1 year of your life away.
Let's see if we can find it. Yeah, you would have to have a spotter.
Sure.
And
That's allowed.
You'd have to learn the track.
Where's the clip from Billy Madison? At no point during that story. Do you have that one?
I don't think I do.
But here's my concern.
Oh, wait.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
That's all.
I've said this many times.
We're all dumber because of it. May God have mercy on your soul.
The guy who's racing flat track, who's blind, and he says he's doing it with able-bodied people, though, racers, but that seems a little far-fetched. But let's say he's doing it. Mm-hmm. It's the same feeling I have when they have the kid with no legs and he's starting at nose tackle at the high school. Mm-hmm. Everyone's like, what an uplifting story. But I'm like, what happens to the psyche of the able-bodied kid he stuffs on the run?
Hey.
You know what I mean?
Be quicker next time.
This guy, is he going to beat 2 guys who have sight? And then how's that conversation going to go when they get back to the paddock with their crew? A blind guy.
I can definitely answer that.
Please.
Because I wrestled in high school.
Oh, perfect.
And I was in the 103-pound division, but and I wrestled my fair share of twigs in my day because there was a guy during a meet. His dad was in the stands and he started yelling before the match like, "Oh, easy win, son!" Because he saw me and he's like, "Easy win." I'm like, "Oh, you motherfucker!" So like, I got mad. I got his son in a move called the fireman's carry, which allows me to like just throw him up on my shoulders, and I walked him around the ring.
You paraded him?
I paraded him.
Are you not entertained?
Yes. I had showmanship then. I have showmanship now. And I slammed him, and then I could just like I saw the guy going like, "Oh, he's definitely gonna beat his son." like later on tonight. Because like, how do you brag about that when someone says like, "Oh, hey, and Timmy's wrestling. How's that going?"
Nah, I think he's going to switch to the fine arts.
No, he seemed like he was really passionate about the wrestling.
No, he was. He was
cutting weight. He was working out. He was getting bit. I bet
I'm
he was
the
in some
dad. Let me put an end to this.
Okay.
A leprechaun forced him to tap out about 3 hours ago today.
Use his magic.
So he's going to study the pan flute from this day on.
Count his gold doubloons.
Can you imagine just the visual tumescence of the wrestling coach when Brad walked onto campus?
Yeah.
My God.
Yeah.
All that compact strength.
Yeah, I know.
But how bad a dad is that to yell "easy win" when he comes out?
It's fucking
Jesus
insane.
Christ.
Yeah, he was competitive. I don't know. He thought his son was going to be the next Kurt Angle or something, and that did not work out for him.
Did you win the majority of your matches?
I won some, lost some. I'd say I probably lost more, to be honest. But then I found the theater, and then I told my father, "Father, I'm quitting the wrestling team to be in theater. I'm going to be in the musical Damn Yankees. It's going to be."
Don't you know? Do we have a video of him racing across Salt Lake?
Yeah, there's a documentary, but on him where he takes part in a motorcycle race across Lake Gardner, Salt Lake in the southeast of Australia, in an attempt to beat the world track speed record and become the fastest blind motorcycle rider in the world. So here's
the previous record was 14 miles an hour.
He's walking.
Blind one is vanity plate.
All right, I don't want to shit in anyone's Cheerios, but
I know where this is
going in a straight line
Yep,
has nothing to do with riding a MotoGP race. That MotoGP race is insane. I could see going in a straight line where you just open it up and your spotter's like right, left, little right, little left, little left. I mean, don't get me wrong.
You would think
better
he had
than anything I've
he had
done,
to
but
play a little more D with like other people.
I'm saying straight line with a spotter's doable. Racing on a road course with other motorcycles, that's the insane sounding part.
I just came up with a brilliant business idea.
Let's hear it.
Okay.
Yeah, finally.
Brilliant business idea. You've heard about the Make-A-Wish Foundation, right?
Sure, yeah.
Obviously, grant wishes to disabled people. My foundation is going to take blind kids and adults and tell them, you're going to set the land speed record on a motorcycle.
Mm-hmm.
And we set up a motorcycle in one of those wind tunnels where they test cars.
Ah, yeah.
We just blow the wind at their face, and then we slow it down and go, you did it!
Yes.
You raced across the salt flats.
You
hit 300 miles an hour.
Women are weeping openly.
Yeah. Well, openly weeping. Everyone's cheering. You can have soundtracks playing. You have people. They don't know.
Somebody's got to be throwing rock salt from the front of the face to give them that
just chuck
authenticity.
sand at them.
Yeah.
Brad's going to hell.
100% survival rate. You'll never have the blind kid die.
At the very least, wouldn't they have to be on some sort of a treadmill? They never went in motion.
Those rollers like they use on the dynamometers where the rear wheels are just rolling.
I say they're blind. They're not stupid.
Yeah, you pipe in the scent like they do in Soaring Over California in Disneyland.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pine tree with.
Yeah, the scent of salt.
Or citrus.
and then the kid and the adult thinks that they just won the world record. I mean, hell, you could tell them you climb Mount Everest if you set up an obstacle course in your living room. It's great.
Really
and
good
even though
ideas.
the parents understand what's going on, it's the last wish.
Sure.
Yeah.
They go along
Doesn't
with the
hurt to
ruse.
believe.
And then for the rest of the time, the blind kid guy goes around and says that, he's the land speed record.
For what little time?
Yeah. Unless he meets the other blind kid that you also did it for, and then and then there's just the most entertaining fight in history.
Is he riding on a road course on a MotoGP bike? That's the part, because this is okay.
It's a brilliant idea for a business.
When I start saying to somebody, really, how does he do this? There is a squirrel that water skis, and then there's a squirrel that you duct tape to a piece of plywood and drag behind a boat. Yeah. That is not a squirrel water skiing. When he was saying this guy does MotoGP. MotoGP are where the guys drag their knees on a road course that has 28 turns on it.
Man.
And I was like, in my head, I was like, how do you get sanctioned for that? They couldn't let a blind, no spotter. How's a spotter in the world going to work with a guy coming up on a Suzuki up your tailpipe and cutting right or left? I was like, this can't work. Yes, going in a straight line on a salt flat with no buildings, no structures, no anything, and all you have to do essentially with your eyes closed is continue to go straight and accelerate. Utterly believable. MotoGP. But this person, Caller Tom, was not able to express that.
I smell an ace of words.
Would you like me to reset the balance of the universe?
Yes.
There is, and I think I've talked about before, that really cool show. It was cool with Will Smith called Welcome to Earth, and he does all these deep sea dives and all that stuff. This guy was a fucking blind volcano hiker, and I think we can all reset our calibration now. If you want to see
Brad's program.
Well, I'm feeling like
all you gotta do is stick him under some heat lamps,
head up to get out,
take him to Florida, tune up the humidity. That's all you gotta do. I know what I'm calling this company too.
What?
Sight Unseen LLC.
Yes.
That's good.
Well done.
Trademark that shit.
All right.
All right. We have 1780s guy.
Oh, good.
My favorite 1780s
Heavy clip
guy.
show.
Yeah. Well, I rely on the visual.
Adam Carolla explains a blind guy climbing Mount Everest to 1780s guy.
All right.
They climb them?
We'll play that 1780s guy.
And now, Adam explains to 1780s guy. Custom rims.
So, even when this horseless carriage is not in motion, the wheels appear to keep spinning? Yeah. And why does this delight the Negro?
That was Adam Explains Custom Rims to 1780s.
Just file it under shit you couldn't do today. Brad, let me hit a spot, and then we'll turn the page here. Sure. BetterHelp now, a word from our sponsor. That is BetterHelp. Many ways to support a healthy brain. Learn a new language, take a power nap, one of my personal favorites. There's also BetterHelp, online therapy. Listen, people have been through the trials and the tribulations. You got to get your head right. BetterHelp, online therapy, offering video, phone, and even live chat. Only therapy sessions, so you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. More affordable than in-person therapy. And you can get matched with a therapist in under 48 hours. So take care of yourself. Get your head right. And when you get your head right, everything else comes around very nicely. By the way, my listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/Carolla. That's BETTERHELP.com/Carolla. Get that 10% off the first month at betterhelp.com/Carolla. All right, Chad and JT are going to come in here. You guys know these guys. Maybe we should
set the table.
Maybe we should set the table.
Civil activists.
Yeah, they would show up at a lot of meetings. I guess it would be LA County or Orange County or whatever. And everyone was, you've seen it with the homeless advocates and whatnot. And they would show up, and they had their list of demands. This is Chad asking for a statue of Paul Walker, which I completely support.
What up, Council? My name is Chad Kroeger. First, I just want to say I'm truly honored to be here, to be in a city where you can have a surf session and then go to a city council meeting within the span of an hour. I think that just shows that the American dream is still very much alive, so thank you. All right, to the serious stuff. I stand before you here today in the midst of gnarly times. I'm a freelance journalist, and after interviewing hundreds of people, I've witnessed firsthand the ever-growing divide between Americans and families torn apart over political differences.
The tie.
It's in times like these we need a unifying figure we can all turn to. A beacon of headlights that can guide us down the dusty road. I was 11 years old when my first love, Ashley, betrayed me by moving to Newport Beach. I felt lost, alone, bummed.
5 minutes away from where he is at.
And it was in that melancholy that my dad took me to see The Fast and the Furious, where for an hour and 47 minutes, I transcended my worries because I had just met my new hero, Paul Walker. Afterwards, at Carl's Jr., I thought about what Paul taught me. I think the most inspiring thing was the fact that even after Dominic Toretto beat him in that first race, Paul still managed to bed his sister. Pretty inspiring. And another thing is the fact that he still saved Vince, even though Vince was flexing on him the entire movie and questioned his love for tuna sandwiches, which I think is a true testament to his character. And I just want to go off book here. You know, it wasn't just Fast and the Furious. He inspired me in a ton of other movies as well. Skulls, Meet the Deedles, 8 Below, Into the Blue, Varsity Blues, just to name a few.
There you go.
And that rhymes. Paul's on-screen legacy was unfortunately cut short. But that does not mean his impact on society must be cut short as well. Detroit has the RoboCop. Philly has Rocky. We need Paul Walker. That is why I'm proposing that the city erect a 12-foot-tall steel statue of Paul Walker on the pier. And I'm also proposing that it be sculpted by none other than Damien Ortega, best known for his installation of White Cube 2003. The new Fast and the Furious is fast approaching. It comes out next month, and so we don't have much time. So I'm just going to ask you guys straight up. How can we get started? When can we break ground?
Do you have any comments?
All right, I'll let you guys think about that.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
Here, I'll think about it. Just real quick, Bacon, just curious on the messaging. Is that in support of the Paul Walker initiative, or is that totally unrelated?
It's just my favorite hat.
Bacon's just awesome.
Yeah.
Which I completely agree with. Does Paul Walker have any tie whatsoever to our city in any regard?
He went to high school here. Yeah.
His cousin went to high school here.
Oh, his cousin did?
I'm a big fan of Paul Walker, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But no.
Oh.
Oh.
It's not even patronizing.
Didn't
Also,
even
I don't
discuss
think
it.
we have any statues or
We don't have
anything
any
on the
statues
pier,
of
right?
anybody going around here.
but
although I
especially
love
on
the
the pier.
affection, there's obviously deep well of affection.
This guy, I don't like him.
Yeah.
He's the man. That's why.
Your point
Smug.
is
Very
we need an
smug.
inspiring
Power
figure,
haircut.
and that's a
Don't
very
like it.
powerful message.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Someone
that.
who can help.
I like Lori better.
Yeah, Lori's cool.
Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
All right. Well, Chad Kroeger and JT Parr are going to come in here, the men behind that.
Andy Kaufman walked so they can run.
Run.
That was great. And I did the English wrong, too.
Well, you got
Perfect
the
way to go in and out.
Irvine, by the way. You want to hear him say ran when he should say run, or run when he should say ran.
I'll speak Weller in Irvine, okay?
That'll be tonight through Sunday. First show's pretty sold out, but second show's got a few left. Go to bradwilliamscomedy.com. Chad and JT right after this.
Identify yourself.
What up, Council? My name is Chad Kroeger. Over the past week, I've been in a state of deep despair upon hearing the news that LA is trying to outlaw house parties in the Hollywood Hills. I am here to stop this future atrocity. House parties were the bedrock of my development as a young man in San Clemente. My first introduction to manhood came when the captain of my water polo team, Boomer Kingsley, asked me to shotgun a tall can of Bud Light in front of the whole squad at his end of the season bash. It was epic. Raging at house parties is the truest way.
Thank you. Next speaker, please come and identify yourself.
What up, Council? My name is JT Parr. I am also here to defend parties in the Hollywood Hills. I grew up like most kids, worried I couldn't bench 2 plates, that I wouldn't find love. Then I discovered partying, and suddenly all those worries went to the wayside. I didn't need love. I had keg stands.
Chad Kroeger and JT Parr on the Adam Carolla Show.
Good to see you guys.
Yeah, good to see you too.
I've been a big fan of your work ever since it entered the zeitgeist a few years ago. It started showing up everywhere. People were playing it on radio, their YouTube, and sharing it. The series Chad and JT Go Deep, all episodes on Netflix, and it is out as we speak. Would you consider yourselves activists?
Yeah.
Activists, Stoke Lords.
Yeah. But you guys are from SoCal?
Mm-hmm. Orange County.
Orange County. And what did this sort of civic mindedness sort of come in for you guys? Like, I'm sure you're just regular Orange County kids wanting to get laid, get a job, get a cool car. When did you set out to change the world?
I think when we were struggling with the three things you just described, we were like, well, maybe there's another way there.
You were struggling with getting laid, getting a job, and getting a car?
Yeah.
And then, maybe there's a fourth lane I could go into that might help me get a car and get laid and get a job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think civic duty was the next step.
Uh-huh.
We tried sports, we tried tanning, we tried keto.
Okay.
Yeah,
And,
none of it.
Yeah.
You exhausted all your resources.
Yeah, and it's like they say that DC is sort of the Hollywood for ugly people.
I've heard that. Yeah.
I don't think we're that ugly, but
no, you guys are easy on the eyes as far as activists go.
Oh, dude, thank you.
Yeah, they can be tough, or they can be hot and be celebrities.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of range in activists.
Mm-hmm.
You'd have my whole thing is if somebody said somebody's speaking out against nuclear power or global warming or they want to fur seals or something. If they were a celebrity, I'd definitely be down with that.
Yeah,
but if
you're more apt to listen.
But if they're just an activist who wants to defend marine life, we're talking 300 plus pounds all day long.
Yeah, there was a documentary about Darfur that came out 15 years ago. And there was one guy who was the primary activist, and he was like a waiter from a bougie Hollywood restaurant. Mm-hmm. But they couldn't make it just about him, so they threw in George Clooney and Don Cheadle to give it some zhuzh.
Right.
And we're trying to be like, if that guy and George Clooney had sex and made a babe.
I see it.
That's what you guys would be.
Makes sense, actually.
Yeah. I had proof of this. I was at the beach in Malibu because I'm a member of a private beach club.
Excuse me.
Yeah, it doesn't really cost anything. But if you have a house on this hill, you get access to this beach club.
Costs $3 million for a house.
It's Malibu, and only good-looking people go to this beach.
Sure.
But one day I was walking on this beach, and I saw a couple of heavy-set gals. And they weren't dressed right. The carriage was too big. They didn't look like anyone I'd ever seen on that beach before. And as I was passing them, I was kind of looking at them. Turns out that there was some sea lion that got caught and beached or something, and they were dispatched to go collect the sea lion.
And the camera snapped back into focus.
Right. I was like, that's what they're doing here. See,
Right.
Ugly people save animals. Now, the Hollywood version is the guy in the Kia that's combing the beach with the Kia.
Right.
He's dragging away all the water
trash
bottles so that turtles can
Right.
fuck. Mm-hmm. So, sorry guys, back to you. So the show, what's the format of the show?
It's basically documentary style, following our activism. We have our buddy Strider narrating, and it's sort of it takes the viewers on a journey of we in this show we get canceled accidentally through one of our causes, and it's sort of our journey of redemption.
What happened with the cancellation?
We had a cause to protect skateboarders, and we were promoting it in Huntington Beach to protect our borders.
Confusing messaging.
Misunderstood.
Yeah, we didn't realize that was kind of a faux pas and that had something to do with immigration.
Right, like our southern border.
Right, so people sort of thought that we were, they kind of misinterpreted our cause when we were really just trying to defend skateboarders and
rights. Borders, which to any skateboarder just means border.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
Yeah.
I had this, speaking of this, but this is a hypothetical mind game. Has nothing to do with what you guys are doing. But I don't know, it popped in my head today. I thought, if Canada built a wall, if they said we're going to put a fence all along our border, how would that affect me? Like, what would my thoughts be about it? Like, would I be offended, or like, what would my thoughts be? And I realized I wouldn't have any thoughts.
Yeah.
I just figure out, like, they're putting a fence, and you'd have a checkpoint, and that's their land.
Right.
But then I asked a few people, and they went, "No, I don't have any thoughts." And I thought, oh, I don't have any thoughts. But then why do we have so many thoughts when we want to build a border? I would have zero thoughts about Canada.
Good question.
Any thoughts?
Oh, I think I would be hurt.
You'd be hurt because you feel like they wouldn't want you.
Yeah, I think they'd be sending a message that, like, hey, we think we need some space between you and us. And I'd be like, Canada, why? Like, did I do something? And
You take it personally.
I think I would a little bit, yeah.
But you don't get to just roam over there as it is. They have cameras and checkpoints and stuff like that. So it's more symbolically it would hurt you?
I think so, yeah. And I've also never been to Canada, so I'm not sure what the protocol is getting over there. But yeah, I think if they full on threw up a wall, I'd be like, do you not like me?
Yeah, because what problem is this trying to address? People are sneaky.
Yeah, you think I have
it's
drugs
really
up my ass?
symbolic.
Yeah.
I'd be like, dude, I didn't even do anything, and like you're throwing up a wall. It's like I've been totally chill over here. I haven't even tried to come over and say what up, and you're already like telling me that's not a
Now,
possibility.
are you speaking for America or just for
Just
yourself?
For me.
Just for
me.
yourself.
It's almost like when you first meet someone and right away they like tell you they have a significant other.
Yeah.
And you're kind of like, well, I didn't even hit on you yet.
Yeah. Passive aggressive.
I haven't given you any of that rhythm. So
Yeah, and also-
why are you already ruling me out when I haven't even put myself in? as
You're
an
right.
applicant?
You're right. It's an attack. Like it'll happen a lot where you'll sit down in like a makeup chair and you'll have some attractive makeup lady, and the boyfriend gets woven into the first 5 syllables of our conversation. It's really neither here nor there. But basically what she's saying is I'm unattracted.
Don't try.
I find you unattractive.
Back off.
Don't try. Many have tried. Chad, Canada, fence?
Yeah, I think I'd be offended. I guess in my eyes, I'd be like, what, you don't think I can come over and do some backcountry skiing? You know,
Yeah.
I think making it more difficult. I mean, it's hard enough to climb the mountain, let alone hop a fence on the way there. So,
Especially if you have all that skiing gear.
Yeah.
Like to get over a wall
yeah.
when you got your
But
sticks
you
on
wouldn't
your
have
back
to
and your
break
poles.
in to ski. You know, you could probably just go in
Proper
legally.
channels.
Yeah.
Via a plane.
Yeah,
Any
that
number of
planes to
that, yeah.
Canada. I've driven there a few times.
Oh, where'd you go?
Let's see. I've been to Montreal.
We've been to Vancouver.
Been to Vancouver.
We sailed into Canada.
Yeah,
for God's sake.
Victoria,
Yeah,
BC.
we've been there. You can get there by land, by water, by air. I mean, they have rules, you know, but you could go in.
Sweet. I
Yeah.
plan on going at some point.
You do.
I think so. Montreal would be. I lost my passport for a couple years, but I just found it. So
Oh, you didn't lose it like it was taken away or anything.
I wasn't sure, and I just never did my follow up on it. But then I was just going through like a backpack, and bang, there it was. So
Yeah, feels
Nice.
good, doesn't it?
the world's kind of my oyster right now. I can go
Yeah,
anywhere.
so maybe Canada.
That could be it. Montreal, yeah.
So what are some of the other cases? What are some of the other causes, I should say, that you guys have gotten involved in?
Well, in the show, perineum sunning is a big thing.
Sorry, what is it?
What's that now?
Perineum sunning.
Sunning?
That's the area.
Oh, when you like
No, I know,
tan
perineum.
it, tan it
The
up.
scientific term is taint.
Yeah.
Where you sun your taint.
You sun it.
Yeah, they
Okay.
say it
Sun
gives
it.
you strength.
Yeah. Boost
Oh.
vitamin D, immunity, knowledge.
No.
That makes sense because if you can like butt chug vodka and get wasted way faster, then why couldn't it work with the sun?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
Why couldn't the vitamins absorb better?
Yeah.
I think you're right.
Of
No,
all the
totally.
orifices, that's the one that seems to accelerate like the ingestion process
Yeah.
the most. So
Getting it.
getting that sunlight straight into your butt, it just changes the trajectory of your whole day and maybe your whole life if you're consistent.
This was a big thing a short period of time ago. And so they're against this?
I think dermatologists say that it's dangerous, but I just don't think, it's like you read about it in a book is different than, just grabbing your ankles and doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sort of boots. Well, I was going to say boots on the ground. But
In the sky.
yeah, but your argument is we should be able to do this on a public beach?
Yeah, we wanted a public space specifically designated for perineum sunning.
Oh. And you put your money where your mouth is.
Is that you guys?
All the
Oh, yeah.
That is us.
So you guys are at a park and you're down, like when you go on your back and you throw your legs up over your head so your knees are where your ears are. That's you guys.
Mhm,
Yeah.
That's a Long Beach beach.
People are taking note if you look.
Yeah, they're
past the
stopping
bar,
to see what's
So is there
going
some
on.
haters out at the park?
No, they were just curious. Actually, speaking of travel, they asked us if we were from Europe.
Oh.
Yeah.
Why is that? Because they do a lot of nude sunbathing out there, I guess.
Yeah, I guess just that kind of like libertine behavior. You don't expect it from someone who's local.
Uh-huh.
So they were like, these guys are probably from France or one of them countries.
Yeah, one of those passport countries.
Yeah, exactly.
Perhaps the Europeans are on the vanguard of taint sunning. You know what I mean? It might say to them.
Did you
like,
feel
these guys
different?
know.
Like, like when somebody does a vitamin B injection or something like that, you really feel the strength of the taint kick in after the sunning?
Huge boost. I mean, the way I do battle ropes after, a little sunning is just next level. And I can read better,
Is
too.
battle ropes
It's the things you do up and down.
So whenever
Like
they're
CrossFit kind of.
Whenever they're doing the roll-in package at the UFC and they're showing the guy in slow motion
Yeah.
training,
Looks
he's always
cool.
doing the ropes.
It's hypnotic.
Yeah.
That's me.
And you can read better?
Yeah, I'm not a great reader, so sunning helps me read.
Wow.
I would argue about the battle rope. We took them off the ceiling and we laid them down on the
Yeah.
floor.
What does that
Flop
say?
them around.
What does that say?
It was never broken. You got a pretty fucking good workout trying to get up that
the
rope.
best.
Oh, you
Now
climb
you're
it
just
up.
now there's no little to no gravity to deal with. You can kind of looks
But
like something.
It's easier to look cooler doing that than just trying to
Yes.
shimmy up a rope.
Especially with the one nut peeking through the gym
Sure.
shorts, right? Mm-hmm.
I'm a longtime listener too, so I know you've always been a big advocate for the gym rope being a good way to kind of like create a hierarchy within the youth herd.
I used it as a metaphor. I don't know. Maybe in 50 years we'll all be chicks. It's right at the beginning of the book, which is. But I meant it. Everyone thinks I'm an asshole. But I mean, when I was growing up, and everyone around the country, every gym had a rope, and you had to climb the rope. And
rite of passage.
And the deal was, some people were really good at it, and some people not so good at it, and some people couldn't get 4 inches off the ground. But we didn't take the rope down because the fat kid couldn't get up the rope. The fat kid had to be encouraged to lose the weight, work on the upper body strength or whatever it is. The solution to what about this kid who feels bad not being able to get up the rope wasn't to take the fucking ropes down. That just means a bunch of fat kids who don't feel any shame and don't feel like they have to try harder. Mm-hmm. You with me?
I am to a degree, yeah. Because I was watching the television show The Crown, and one of them's at an all-boys school, and they have to do like a big like cross-country competition, and the kid finishes last, and my girlfriend was like, you got to have a lot of compassion for that kid who finishes last. And I was like, for sure. But I was like, but you also got to tell him that he just has to beat one other kid. Like,
Just
you don't
one.
I was like, look, I'm not going to put pressure on my kid to win.
Yeah.
I don't know if they have that in like just their physical makeup, but I'm like, but you should be able to have like the wiliness to find one other kid.
Just one.
Beat the slowest
just
kid.
You just got to beat one other
Or
kid.
triple.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. You tell me when you find that, Chris. Also, you want a petition for people to respect e-scooters, but how does that work?
Well, we're pretty prominent e-scooter riders, so we've taken a lot of verbal abuse from people out on the road. We're just trying to shred the crete, and so it's with every sport like skateboarding, snowboarding. There's going to be haters and stuff, and so we're like, well, why don't we just take this to the streets, get a petition going to just stop the hate early, so the progress of the e-scooter sport can sort of rise.
Is it a sport now?
I thought it was just transportation method.
It's on the rise. Like, we were shredding the bowl at the Culver City skate park. So
on an e-scooter. Wow.
Yeah, a cop kicked us out.
Yeah, we got booted, but
Not allowed to shred on an e-scooter in the bowl?
no
Not
motors
yet.
in there.
Oh, they don't like motors.
And we try to get into the Olympics, but same deal, no motors in the Olympics.
No motors.
That makes sense.
But that feels like they're stuck in the past. Like, we feel like in the future, half the events will be somewhat motorized.
Motorized, yeah.
They should do the wheelchair race and the marathon with motorized wheelchairs. Like, let's see what country really kicks ass.
Right.
Yeah, and
That'd be
Rubbin's
sick.
racing. We could see some fun bumping.
That's true. You could bump draft a guy. It'd be awesome.
It's like that Doc Murder Ball, but
Yeah.
getting
Yes.
into more like linear direction.
Did Murder Ball have to be as big as it was?
Murder
I'm
Ball's
looking at
fucking
you,
rad.
Brian. But did it have to be murder? I was at the title. I interviewed on my late night show like the guy from Murder Ball. Total flatliner, like shit
Yeah.
interview.
The
There was
red-bearded guy?
One of the lead guys. It was a doc. I think it was the name. it just soared. Like everyone talked about it for like 4 months. I was like, murder ball. And I interviewed the guy and I was like, meh.
Yeah, well, it's incredibly well made. But yes, you're right. It had the right time, right place with the great name, Murder Ball. It was like a sports underdog, story that everyone can get behind. It had that great momentum going for it.
It had a good villain too. There was one.
The villain was great.
There was like one murder baller who was like
he went to coach Canada's team.
Yeah,
because he got kicked off the murder ball
put
team.
A fucking fence up, Canada. Keep
and he
that
was
guy
like
out of there.
craving for power and honor, and it like turned him nasty.
Oh my god, what a great movie!
So you're a connoisseur of the films. We have the rope ready. Page, I don't know, page 12. Is this the first book?
Yes.
All right, go ahead, Dawson. Make me sound smart.
First thing was the gym rope. Remember that thing that stretched from the floor to the ceiling in your gym classes that you could never climb? That constant reminder that you were inferior? It's the only apparatus I'm aware of that makes it possible for you to be ridiculed while people stare at your nuts. Most of the kids couldn't make it to the top, but that wasn't the point. The point was you had to try while some middle-aged guy in a windbreaker who couldn't make it up a flight of stairs yelled at you. At some point, somebody decided the ropes needed to be removed. Sparing the kids the rod is a good thing. Sparing them the rope is a horrible idea. We should have put Lardo on that rope, given him a 3 Mississippi head start, then sent a subway rat scurrying after him. But we didn't want to shame the boy, so we took them all down, gave everyone a participation trophy and a pamphlet on secondhand smoke, and sent them to a cultural diversity seminar. Taking down the rope would be a capital idea if there were no ropes in life, but they're everywhere. You just can't see them. They're in the workplace. They're in relationships. They're in every goal unrealized and expectation not met. The point everyone missed about the rope is you weren't supposed to make it to the top. It was there to create a fire that burned in the oversized belly of every kid who could shimmy up it. A fire that has now been forever extinguished with stuffed crust pizza and Mountain Dew.
Wow.
Bonus point for Lardo.
That was powerful.
That hit me hard.
It hit you hard?
Dude, that reminded me of, similar to the rope, one thing that inspired me as a kid to get jacked is watching my dad watch Jason Statham do pull-ups in Death Race.
Oh, yeah, in Death Race.
My dad was so in awe of just his physique and stuff that to this day I try to do as many pull-ups as I can so I can match that.
To impress your dad?
Yeah.
Because you saw the look on your dad's face watching Statham doing chin-ups in Death Race?
Yeah.
And that's how you got yoked?
Yeah, and I think that's something for kids too. It's like if you're a dad, watch Death Race in front of your son, and I think that'll be a good.
Well, and also Fast
tool.
and Furious. I mean, that was pretty moving stuff.
Dude, yeah, Paul and Vin Diesel. I mean, Vin Diesel's yoked in that. So
big.
Yeah. Who do we like better, Paul Walker or Vin Diesel?
I'm a Paul guy.
Well, they're going to erect a statue of
Yeah,
Paul.
obviously.
Come on.
But what if they both died in the same car accident at the same time, but we only had
only honor one
steel, as you said, for one statue?
I think it'd still be Paul.
Yeah.
Really?
I just think there's a purity to him that comes through on screen.
Does your love extend to the entire universe? You know, Hobbs and Shaw and stuff like that?
No, we're kind of only
Purist.
loyal to the Fast and Furious
Makes sense.
franchise. The spin-offs feel a little bit cynical to us. It's true.
Money grab.
It's a money
Craven.
grab. It's not inspired by a real desire to make art like the regular series.
Yeah, like a need, like for speed. Like a real legitimate guy who would live his life a quarter mile at a time or something like that. Like some, a creed. You know what I mean?
I relate to that, needing that peace.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like the only time you feel free, I guess.
It kind of. There's something about going fast that just like levels out my brain. And
is that where the love of the scooter comes in?
For sure.
Yeah, that goes north of what, like 11 miles an hour?
Yeah, you can hit 12 if you're going down a hill.
Wow.
Yeah, so you're doing a quarter mile in, 65, 70 seconds, so that's...
Yeah.
Your hair's moving for sure.
Look at that.
I mean,
Your
we're
arms
looking
look
at
great there, Chad.
Oh,
They
dude,
do.
That's a glory shot right there.
A lot of
Dude, that
definition.
hero shot.
That's Statham inspiration right there.
Yeah. So it was watching your dad watch Statham. It wasn't you watching Statham.
That's not Statham?
Dude, thank you so much. I was watching my dad watch Statham.
Did your dad watch? Did you watch your dad watch other movies and become inspired, or was it just Death Race?
Norma Ray because of the civic aspect, or
Right. Yeah, it was mostly Death Race and Transporter, actually.
Oh,
yeah,
that's your dad. So your dad knows film.
Yeah.
He's a big Statham fan.
He's a buff, big buff.
Wow.
Yeah.
Were you guys a little let down on the Fast 10, the last one? I felt as a fan, I was let down a little bit.
F9 was the other.
Oh,
one.
9 was the last one. 10's coming.
I thought, them going into space felt like a natural extension of where they were at, but I wanted them to go farther than space.
Oh.
I don't know what that would be, but
farther.
But farther.
But not metaphorically, just physically.
Yeah,
beyond.
physically, like what's... Because
What's
I've seen
beyond?
other movies in space, and I expect Fast to go farther than those movies. So
Yeah, so like Buzz Lightyear goes to infinity and beyond.
I wanted to
So
see
you say,
what,
like you want to know what was beyond that.
I want to know what their vision of beyond is.
That's a good point because they were in orbit, but like I want to explore other worlds, galaxies.
In the
Is it-
Fiero, I mean, I found it a little dubious that they took a '87 Pontiac Fiero to outer space. Did you guys feel like
When you first said Fiero, I didn't realize that was a car. I thought that was like a constellation or a galaxy or
it does?
something.
It probably is in other cultures. Here, it's a car.
Yeah, is that not the best like whip to take for that kind of journey?
Geez, when you put it that way, I couldn't offer up a better car.
Like a Tesla, maybe?
Well, at least there's some precedent with the Tesla. You're right. A Fiero wasn't a particularly well-constructed, Pontiac in the 80s. But you're right, even a nicely appointed Mercedes or Audi from 2003 probably wouldn't hold up in outer space.
Any vehicle, modern or not, will need some retrofit.
And how much of space travel do you think is like looking the part, being the part? Like if you feel sexiest in a Fiero, maybe that's what you're gonna be safest
you'll
in.
be the best
Dumbo's
in.
feather.
Yeah, I never really thought about what you felt good in. I thought it was more about the equipment, but you're right. There it is.
Yeah,
It's a
fashion
Fiero.
first.
Very impressive.
Yeah.
Maybe a muscle car.
You know what I would like?
It's incredible.
I actually know the guys who made these films. I would like to be able to get them when they were initially pitching the first Fast and Furious. Like, it's street racers, it's like gritty.
Underground.
It's underground. No names, blah, blah, blah.
Cops
and
gotta
then
infiltrate the
just
gang.
show them the last 10 minutes of the last 3 movies. Their head would explode. Like there's a submarine popping up from the Arctic shelf. There's a giant transport plane that's on a runway that is evidently 7,000 miles long because that plane is trying to take off for the last 20 minutes of the movie. They never run out of space on that runway. Or there's a Fiero in outer space. Like, if you just saw the guys who made first movie, had to be like, look, fellas, you got $9 million. That's all we got. We don't have enough for names. We have a little bit left for outdoor advertising.
To rely on story.
Yes, we're going to rely on story, and we're going to rely on that slammed Acura. And next thing you know, va-voom.
Yeah.
Thoughts, guys?
Dude, I mean, think about that, and then our current show right now, if you 10 years from now, it was us in space on scooters.
Right.
That's, I mean, dude.
Your head would explode,
Yeah,
right?
I'd be like, Netflix, thank you so much.
Well, may you get another 9 seasons. I mean, how does it work? They when do you find out whether you get picked up or not?
Oh, dude, we have no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not about the money.
No, it's really not. It's more about like just getting the message of butthole sunning to more people.
It's about the message. It's always been about the message.
Yeah.
Or the scooters.
Scooters.
I mean, just doing activism in general.
Small dong stuff.
Yeah.
What's the
Abolishing small dong shame.
Oh, people are like at a gym or something like that, or
Just everywhere. I think a lot of people don't acknowledge or admit when they have a small dong, and we want to just take away all the stigma and just make it a safe place for people to, claim who they are publicly.
How do you go about doing that?
Well, we went on the news and announced that we have small dongs.
Wow.
There's a revelation in the show about my dong, actually, that, I'll leave it to the viewers to find out, but...
So is it a situation with the small dongs like Lizzo? She's a heavy-set gal, but she's trying to reclaim the big bod for the big gals. So she's got the thong back and the one piece and the titties out the side and the rolls, and she's going, I don't care. Like, live with it.
Yeah.
This is the new beautiful. This is what. And so is there a way to, like Tommy Lee took that picture the other day of his big hog, should we, you guys with your small dogs, like, do you get some, Levi's and cut the crotch out and go out on a cold day and go, this is who I am, like what
All bodies
Lizzo
are
does?
beautiful.
Yeah, I think we also want to juxtapose it with like traditionally masculine images. So I think it's like me in like Roman centurion armor and with a sword and a helmet, but then my small dong is uncovered.
Front and center.
I'm reading here you went on Waters World, Jesse Waters' show, and did the announcement for the small dong.
First we got
Yeah, should we take a look at that?
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. A lot of clips in the show.
dong and it's dang.
Guys, you can't come on live shows and talk about your dongs. You can't do it.
They just did.
Yeah, well,
They certainly did.
They haven't had us back since then.
Oh, they'll have you back. You just,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. You guys got
You got
short
put in
dongs. They
detention
got
for a
short
little bit.
memories.
Right.
Dude, good
It's
call.
been said many times. That's something your dad tell your dad he can use that one
Oh, dude, thanks, man.
if he wants.
Thank you.
What else? I'm interested in your dad. He's watching the Statham movies.
Right.
He likes looking at dudes, but he's a straight guy, right?
Straight guy. He admires a good physique.
Did he treat you like, you don't measure up? Like, can't you be more like Statham, or he's a nice guy?
No, he's a nice guy. He just every morning bacon and eggs, pull-ups. I mean, my dad loves to do pull-ups himself. He does 300 pull-ups every morning, then renegade rows. So he's been doing that. He's just old school, like from the 50s, just banging it out every morning. I always respected that.
Like he's in prison.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah.
What are the renegade rows?
That's where you do the push-ups with dumbbells, usually like 25s or 30s, and then you do a push-up, and then you row it back.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
Dad, man.
Yeah.
That's a dude. What's he do for a living?
He's a surgeon.
Wow.
Whoa.
He's hardcore.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, Dr. Drew always says to me, a lot of these doctors, they all went nuts during COVID and they bought into a lot of bullshit. He said, not the surgeons. They're like the pilots of the doctor world. Like they're fucking
Cool
they have
under
to
pressure.
you have to be, and you have to improvise and you have to be able to work with your hands. Like it's highly skilled, but highly practical.
It makes sense.
Yeah, and it feels like they have to be detached from like other people's opinions, right? Because
Yes.
like, they're dealing with something that's like just purely physical and that has like the
Yeah.
consequences aren't other people. It's like just this one body.
Wow, man.
Yeah. It's a
That
true
sounds
craft.
hardcore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Does he specialize in something?
He's a hand surgeon.
Oh, you should have talked to him, Adam.
Should have just got my hand
Oh, you got your
worked
hand?
on.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Should have went to him.
Dude, yeah.
I'll go to him for my other hand. The other hand's going to need some work at some point. Some point, too.
Is that from hitting the mitts and or the heavy bag?
I would say that all the years of holding the mitts
right
caused a lot of damage. And it's true, yeah, my right hand would be whoever I was holding the mitts for's right hand, which is their right cross, which means they would be hitting my right hand harder.
All their power.
But I also did a lot of like jabs, and I also punched a lot with my lead hand because I'm left-handed. So I jack my hands up.
JT, what does your dad do?
He is he had a hair care company. He made like shampoo and conditioner and like hair gels and stuff like that.
You have beautiful hair.
Thanks. He
I'm
would
sure
try-
you hear that a lot from the ladies.
Yeah, sure. Not really.
Really? Girls love, like, we all wish we had those, like, beautiful curls.
I hear from like hairdressers sometimes. They're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you got great hair." I'm like, "You say that, but you wouldn't trade with me."
Is
And then,
your dad successful?
He was, yeah.
Oh, he passed away?
No, he is rather.
Oh, he is. Okay,
He's not being
both.
successful.
All right. Well, speaking of being fit, how about a little word from FitBod? Well, there you go. Summer is ending, and the days are getting shorter, and the kids are getting back in school, and it's easy to fall out of your good habits. Well, take care of yourself. FitBod's algorithm updates your fitness plan based on your goals, experience, and equipment, and varies to avoid overtraining. So you get the app and you don't get bored because they vary the experiences and you don't get burnt out on doing the same thing every day. App is super easy to use, works with iOS and Android devices. see your muscle usage, recovery and achievements, and workout streaks as well. A full year of personalized workouts for less than the cost of one session with a personal trainer, and it fits into your schedule. So, FitBod is where you go. That is FitBod, right, Dawson?
Keep your workout momentum going. Get personalized workouts from FitBod that get tougher as you do. Get 25% off your subscription to try out the app for free when you sign up now at fitbod.me/Carolla. It's 25% off your prescription. That's 25% off your subscription or try it free at fitbod.me/Carolla.
All right. Should we take ourselves a quick break and come back with Chad and JT for the news right after this?
A big jury decision just happened. They decided on Wednesday that LA County must pay Kobe Bryant's widow, Vanessa, and another person $31 million in damages because sheriff's deputies and firefighters shared graphic photos from the crash site, 2020, the helicopter crash that killed the NBA star and his daughter and 7 other people. The jury deliberated for just a couple of hours, and they were convinced by the lawyer representing Vanessa and Chris Chester that the photos of the crash caused emotional distress, and they went for it. $16 million to Vanessa, $15 million to Chester, and Tuesday would have been Kobe's 44th birthday.
Why'd they give... I get the part where there's an algorithm that insurance companies use that, when the Twin Towers go down and one guy was a big stockbroker and he made $1.7 million a year, and then there was the janitor and they both died, but people go, sorry, the janitor only made $41,000 a year, so we're going to pay, he was 57, he could have worked for another 19 years, we'll pay you that times whatever. And then there's that's Vanessa, that's Kobe,
right.
And the other were people you'd never heard of. But then why not just make it 15.5 each, or do whatever? She gets 21 and he gets 9. The weird, you get 16 and you get 15 is a weird little jab or something. What is that? Why not just break it in half? And then what is she obligated to do with this money? Because she will never have to come close to anything known as work ever again. Licensing, God knows what she got after the crash, but I mean, there was no such thing as her ever. She's going to be full Priscilla Presley, right? Just nothing but mailbox money for the rest of her life.
Yeah.
Is she sort of obligated to take the 16 and go, I'm giving it to the Aeronautical Safety Commission because there's too many helicopters crashed, or I'm giving it so that each helicopter can be outfitted with a terrain sensing device.
Yeah.
If this one had it, he'd still be alive. Or just
even the Mamba Kids,
Mamba Kids Academy,
Association.
or can you just hammer that check?
You can hammer that check.
I don't think you should.
Well, I don't think she's. I have no idea, but I don't. Why would she feel like she'd have to do anything else with it?
Because she's got $100 billion.
Right, I agree.
And it's very prominent.
Gauche.
Everyone's talking about it. And it's $16 million.
Yeah.
By the way, when we go, the sheriff's department had to pay or whatever. It's that's just us.
Yeah, that's
that's just taxpayers.
coming out of the till.
It's basically, it's not like the guy who showed up the picture makes $63,000 a year. He's not coming out of his pocket. Right. It's whatever tax money or whatever money that is put in through this. All this, the police department, the sheriff department, this department, that department had to pay the inmate or whatever it is. It's all just money that could have gone to something else.
Well, and then that leads me to the question, will we see an uptick in traffic tickets? Make up
gotta raise some money.
Yep.
I'm saying I think it'd be a good gesture
I couldn't
for
agree
her
more.
just to go somewhere
good
with that
optics.
money. What do you guys think? JT, Chad?
What do I think she should do with the money?
Do you know who we're talking about?
Of course, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
And I think I remember, Kobe Bryant, good basketball player.
Yeah.
Tragically passed.
Very good, actually.
Mm-hmm. I read the Lakers book, 3 Ring Circus. About them. Really juicy goss in there.
Oh, really?
Like what?
It's intense. I don't know. You just got. I shouldn't have brought it up if I wasn't going to expound on it. But
let me guess.
It's so juicy. I feel bad talking about it.
Is it a lot of on the road indiscretion?
Hijinks.
I think that writer who's a good writer, Perlman, I think he likes to kind of take everyone down a peg or two, and he's very effective at it. So it's just about how they're all kind of tough to get along with, to put it mildly. But
what would you do with the money? We obviously the Paul Walker statue, number one. There's still going to be a couple of mil left over after that.
Yeah. I mean, I like the idea of giving it to the Mamba kids.
Yeah.
Aeronautical safety, all that kind of stuff.
So just what
the
Adam
practical
thought.
use.
Yeah.
But obviously the Paul Walker.
Well, that first, yeah.
Yeah, that first.
I mean, that'd probably be 60,000, so that'd take a good chunk out.
And also, that with that kind of money...
wouldn't take that much out.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, because 16... Well, I'm saying
it's cast iron.
Right, but that'll rust.
Oh, is that bad?
Oh.
Yeah,
Like
you
a
want
skillet.
bronze or stainless or something.
Right.
Oh, that's an easy pivot.
Yeah,
for
well,
sure.
You're a handyman.
I
What
am.
would you suggest?
Handyman.
You know, I'd probably go down to the North Hollywood Park and see what they did the Amelia Earhart statue out of, because that thing, you know, Amelia Earhart?
The lady who went across the globe and then got disappeared.
That's right. She
Yeah.
got disappeared.
Right, her.
Well, I said got disappeared. Like there was,
No,
she
I
might
know.
have just got lost, but we don't know, right?
We don't know. But the point is there's a statue of her, and she's out front of the North Hollywood Park, and she's leaning against a part of her plane that broke off upon impact, which is a weird message.
Yeah.
Really?
It's a broken.
For dear life.
She's holding a propeller.
She seems proud.
But she looks strong.
But it would also be the first piece that hit the ocean, you know, the propeller.
Like Rose on that plank.
Yeah, and they had
Swinging.
one. They have one at the Burbank Airport, but that's indoor. But then North Hollywood Park. I grew up out here, so I've been seeing her out there, unfazed, unchanged. You know, all throughout the. You know, we have some tough winters out here in North Hollywood. You know, very tough.
Yeah.
And
brutal. Gets into the
she's
60s.
She's survived. Right, it'll dip into high 50s at some point, but she has survived and leaning against that propeller. So I always used to say in my act, I said, like, if you talk to anyone, and there was one inside the Burbank Airport too, I would say, if you talk to anybody under 40 and you were saying, like, meet me at the Burbank Airport, and you'd say, meet me by the Earhart statue, they'd go, oh, yeah, the dude leaning against the paddle? Because there's no other way to interpret
Yeah.
Whoa.
Handsome.
This is her. All right, so whatever they made the Amelia Earhart statue out of, I'm guessing bronze, then that's the Paul Walker one.
I like the bronze because for Paul especially would emphasize his tan.
Oh,
yeah, right.
I didn't
That's
think
kind of
about
his
that.
natural color.
Yeah.
He's a good looking dude.
Like was it Into the Blue?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
he was smoldering in that.
He would look good.
Yeah.
He was swimming underwater in slow
Really?
motion and doing the dolphin style
Oh, boy.
Oh, dude.
kick. Yeah, your dad must have busted up. I mean, had to really enjoy that,
Yeah.
right?
What are you going to say, Bustalo? 'Cause we-
No,
we
I was
say that a
saying
lot.
That's
no,
different.
but I was saying
Kinda
he
like
must
in
have
our
like
vocabulary.
really enjoyed seeing Paul like aquatically. You know, he's so
Yeah.
graceful.
Yeah, I mean, my dad he really wanted us to be swimmers and stuff. 'Cause
Oh,
it's
he
hard
did?
work, and he's like, I think he'd look at that and he'd be like, "That's the tone you can achieve if you take on this sport." So-
Yeah, it was glorious. Gina, have you ever seen this
No,
movie?
I got to see it.
Very well shot, underwater,
Beautiful.
beautiful. With oh God, what was
Jessica
it?
Alba.
Jessica Alba looked
Just a
equally.
couple of- yeah, just a
Yeah,
couple
that was sweet.
specimens.
You'd be hard pressed to find two people just sort of naturally looked better in their bathing suits than those guys. You can work out all you want. You can get boob jobs and silicone stuff, but just tall and super lean and sinewy, hard to find a better combo
Yeah,
than that.
makes sense.
And then they swam in slow motion.
Oh, boy.
Underwater.
Dreamlike.
What do they
Yeah.
do for like crafty when they're shooting out on those boats? Do they just have like another speedboat next door with like a table and some granola bars?
Yeah, I don't know what Crafty at Sea's like, but I can check into that. I am in the union.
Just drop a line.
Yeah, but
I'm sorry I made you the expert on it.
no,
but
I don't
been
know.
on
I've
set
never,
on it.
I've not
Yeah.
done a lot of aquatic work, mainly land-based comedy.
For sure.
A cruise ship or two, I mean, but that's not what you're talking
No,
about.
he's talking like Uncle Ron or Captain Ron.
It's got a full buffet. Like,
Right.
But like when they did Captain Ron or
Right,
Jaws, how
right.
did the actors eat?
That's a good
I don't know.
point.
I could make a couple of phone calls.
Yeah.
Hey, blow a call into Costner about Waterworld.
Yes.
Oh,
I could
dude.
talk
Well
to God. He's a dear. He is a dear friend. I
Before you guys came in the studio, we saw a clip of talking to city council about the statue, and you referenced a deep cut in Skulls. I forgot that he was even in the young Paul Walker. That is a semi-obscure film. I'm surprised. You must say a huge fan if you cited Skulls.
We were actually just talking about it the other day. One of our favorite scenes is when all the chicks come, and of course they play Higher by Creed, because that's the song you got to play when chicks come. And
Yeah,
then,
like when the chicks show up, that's the perfect song.
Yeah, and then Paul leaves with 2 chicks.
Yeah.
Two.
Everyone else
Yeah.
gets 1 chick, and Paul leaves with 2.
Is that the one that ends in the climactic duel?
Yes.
On a,
Yes.
on a conveniently placed dueling deck that happens to be outside their
These
mansion?
are old school dudes. This
Yeah.
was like before Hamilton. They were kind of the first ones there.
What was that movie
Who
about?
was the hero that was
Joshua Jackson.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Paul plays
I saw the
Caleb
theater.
Mandrake.
Wow.
Good rich guy douche name, Caleb Mandrake. for the,
Oh
for
yeah,
the
that's
bad
super
guy.
douchey and super rich. You're
Trent
right.
Williams?
No, it's Craig T. Nelson's his dad.
Oh, dude, nice.
But I love
Good
Trent
recall.
Williams.
What year did this take place? This movie?
2000. Yeah, 2000.
I mean, it was a
Is this-
contemporary
is it-
movie.
Oh,
Let's
Christopher
see.
McDonald.
Did we get it right?
He crushed it in that too, yeah.
Was it?
William Peterson's
Leslie
kind of
Bibb.
the.
Was no?
It's
Was
a
it a?
secret society. It's like a fraternity or
Yeah.
something. she's trying to get into.
Skull and Bones at
Skull
Yale.
and Bones.
Yeah.
And then they duel regularly.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wow.
In 2000.
Should we watch this, Brian?
No.
Oh, okay.
This is probably 13% of Rotten Tomatoes.
I think you would
Chat
like it.
JT. Should we watch Skulls?
You should, because you're a huge
hell
fan
yeah.
of like bad movies, right?
Yeah.
Well, this is a great movie, but I still think you'll like it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, here's where the
Oh, here's
chicks
the higher
come,
scene.
too.
Yeah, this is huge.
Yeah.
This is my morning coffee. Do you think they still duel at Yale?
I don't
wanna
know.
see
I
this
mean, they
movie.
probably settle it with the crew team.
Right.
You know, like who can paddle faster.
Like oar versus oar, like sword combat.
No, I just mean like a race.
At sea.
Regatta.
I don't know how those guys eat though. You got to think about it. Like there you are paddling for hours on end.
Yeah,
like
where's Crafty?
where is Crafty in a situation like that?
Do you consider the coxsman an athlete?
I'm trying to think. Like there's certain, that job's got to be predicated on your weight, right?
It's like jockey size, right?
Yeah, they never have any heifers doing that gig. On the other hand, do they have a weight or do they add weight like they'll do with a horse? They do it in some car racing. Is there combined crew weight? And, and then what if you were able to hire mini-me or something like that? You save like 65 pounds or...
Yeah.
There must be some rule. Well, we talked about when Ayrton Senna would do his go-kart
Yeah.
race, and he would add weight to the go-karts if
fair.
a kid was in there. Like, it's just we're going fair. We're
Yeah.
going to see who's the best
He would
driver.
do that when he raised kids.
He'd invite, I'll think of his name, Tony Kanaan, I think is a big Indy driver. And he said, yeah, when I was like 13 or 14, I'd go to Ayrton's ranch and he'd have a big go-kart race for all the prominent and great, Brazilian kid champions or whatever. And he had a whole track at his house and everything. And he said, first thing you do is add weight.
How do you compare him to like the contemporary F1 drivers?
Well, I think there's Tony.
Like, was there more pure
Come on.
driving skill when he was doing it
I
versus the
think
guys
what
today?
you have to kind of do is you have to kind of think of it like, let's say, a pilot from World War II versus a fighter pilot from today. The equipment is so much more advanced and can do so much more, but it happens so much faster because everything has been sped up, but there are ways to control the car. Whereas these guys were just manual shift and blipping the throttle and dialing things in and kind of by the seat of their pants. Also with a crazy danger factor that has not been eliminated, but it's definitely been decreased quite a bit. So you'd have to give the guys the sort of old school guys the thumbs up just on the crazy danger. I mean, Ayrton Senna's dead now because of the crazy danger factor back then. But like they had to drive those cars 100% themselves with no assisting of any kind. But now the guys today have some assist, but everything's been sped up. So maybe that evens it out.
Right, like how quick they got to work that computer as they're going.
I don't think they work it as they're going, but they have a a technology.
Well, I mean, I just mean their steering wheel's got like 70 buttons
they're
on it.
they're lights and they're scrubbing through the gears and there's so much like a steering wheel from an F1 car. It's like a space shuttle. It's crazy. Yeah, Yeah, if you got Netflix and you're going to watch these guys' specials, should check that Drive to Survive.
First watch Skull.
First watch
The Skulls.
The Skulls, and then that. All right, let me tell you about Blinds Galore. They're having a huge Labor Day sale. Starts Wednesday, August 31st. Everything is up to 50% off. You've worked hard all summer. Now let blindsgalore.com make it easy for you to get the custom blinds and shades you've always wanted right in your own home. I use them. They're in my home. They're in my office. They're in our edit bays. They're everywhere. We always use Blinds Galore for everything. First place to buy custom window treatments online. Trust me, I know what you're going for, and especially it keeps the heat out, keeps the noise out, adds so much. Just take the measurements, customize it online. If you need assistance, their design experts are ready to help. Everything is 100% custom made and built from scratch and created just for you. Designer product without the designer price. Free samples, free shipping. It's Blinds Galore. Right, Dawson?
You work hard enough. Reward yourself with new Blinds Galore custom window coverings during one of their biggest sales of the year. Order your free samples today so you'll be ready when their Labor Day sale starts on August 31st. Don't forget to let them know that we sent you. That's blindsgalore.com.
Oh, breaking news. The Skulls is streaming on Peacock.
Oh,
nice. So we should wrap pretty early.
Yeah.
So I got to watch it. All right, give us another story, Gina.
All right. Well, let's talk Nick Cannon because he's having another kid. He is 41, and his girlfriend, Brittany Bell, is expecting their third child together, which is his 10th overall. Nick made the announcement in an Instagram video, which we have, of their maternity photo shoot, featured Brittany posing topless while, like, sitting on the ground and, like, kind of wrapping her arms around his legs. Like kind of like that dime store novel vibe. In addition to his kids, Golden and Powerful, Cannon shares 11-year-old twins Monroe and Moroccan with Mariah Carey, as well as a newborn son, Legendary Love, with model Brie Tessel.
Well, speaking of the crazy black names.
Oh, there's more.
Keep going because
Okay.
I have one for you. Get our football names ready, Max Pata. But sorry, go ahead.
He's also the dad to twins Zion and Zillion. They're 13 months, and then he has another baby on the way. Nick said he is expecting to welcome 3 babies this year.
Is
So
the
he's
girlfriend upset about that?
Everyone seems cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Spreads the seed.
All the guys who don't cheat are fools.
The more you know.
Well, what it is I've said it a million times. It's like Snoop Dogg with the weed. Don't fucking go hide behind the dumpster. Make it part of you.
Mm-hmm.
Then we're surprised and upset if you're not smoking weed at the White House. You know what I mean? Like you lean into it.
Right.
And they used to do it back then. Like when they interviewed those old guys, this old blues guy or rock guy, he was a ladies' man.
That's right.
He'd enter the club with one chick and leave with another. He was. They was like, oh, and everyone start laughing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They interviewed the guy's wife who's still alive. You know, and he died 20 years ago. And it's like, well, he did love the ladies, and you know, that rubbed me the wrong way a few times.
You gotta stand by your man.
But it comes with the territory. So it's like, hey, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
I like strange tits and ass. That's who I am. Like Snoop and his weed. You don't tell. But then there are the other guys that are like, oh, I would never know. They get caught their hand one fucking time. They get their dick wet with some strange pussy, and it's a big deal.
It's big to do.
Yeah, Nick's smart. He's leaning into that
early.
Yeah, it's his brand.
It's his brand.
What do you guys think of that? He's going to have 10 kids, 3 this year.
It's a fire legacy.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got a whole squad behind him. I mean, I love it. I've been watching Yellowstone a bunch. I mean, it's all about, keeping the squad strong.
And if you're like,
I've not seen it. Is he in Yellowstone, Nick Cannon?
No. Kevin Costner is, though.
Oh, I see. You're saying it's just about having a family.
Yeah. Yeah, keeping your, generational sort of strength.
Right, but not Nick Cannon per se.
Keeping your metaphorical ranch
I
strong.
gotcha.
Yeah,
Good. Yeah, man.
And I think if you really want one of your kids to like be president or have some kind of significant footprint on, life.
Be like a Paul Walker type.
Yeah, if you want that, I mean, you don't know what you're getting when you have a kid. So he's kind of just boosting his odds. Yeah.
So he's like the guy who's buying a bunch of lotto tickets.
Yeah, he's just getting as many lotto tickets as he can.
Because I got 2 kids, but it's like I got 2 lotto tickets, but what are the fucking chances with those 2?
It could be, you just don't know. But what is funny is that if he has like by the time he's done like 50 kids and none of them do anything, that's probably going to be pretty disappointing.
Yeah.
Yeah, or worse, I always feel for the guys. You know, you hear those stories where it's like, oh, the guy drove his car into a Christmas parade and took out 13 elderly marchers. And then they go, Donald Johnson Jr., 26 years old. And I go, oh, there's a senior somewhere that's working. That's got the, that's the chance you take when you go with the junior.
Right. That's right. Everybody knows. I'm curious from you gentlemen, which name you like that? He has Golden and Powerful are two of his kids. He has Legendary Love, Zion, Zillion.
Legendary Love sounds pretty badass.
Yeah.
You go with that one?
Wouldn't mind if my son was rocking that name and living up to it.
Yeah, and I think the girl, Powerful, I think her middle name's Queen. I think she's Powerful Queen Cannon.
Wow.
I would caution Nick that there's only so much you can get done with the name, though. You know what I mean?
Good luck convincing him.
Yeah, like I said, I wanted to name my kid Cash Widecock, but it wouldn't guarantee
that you're speaking it
anything.
Into existence.
Yes, it'd be exciting when he walked into the room, but at some point, the rubber would meet the road. You know what I mean? Like maybe he wasn't rich.
Yeah.
Maybe he had a narrow cock.
It's like the opposite of a boy named Sue.
Yeah,
Too
so
tough
be
for him.
careful with the names. That's all.
Yeah, you don't have much control over your cock, but what if pull up? What about that?
Oh, pull up is a kid's name.
Oh.
Yeah, that's good. Your dad would appreciate that.
You have control over how many pull ups you do. So when pull up walks into the room, he sure as shit better be doing his pull ups.
28 reps Carolla.
Yeah.
All right, let's bring it home, Gina Grad.
You got it. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news.
Adam Carolla, you horse-toothed bastard.
Yes.
Gina. That was the news with Gina Grad.
It's funny that the pull-up is probably the most hand-centric exercise. You know, you need your hands for the curls and you need your hands for the push-ups, but not like with the pull-up. You know what I mean? Maybe that's your dad. Maybe that's why he gravitated toward the pull-up.
Yeah, it has strong hands. I mean, the hand is like the most beautifully designed part of our body. Like it's so. You mess it up. It can really
stare at your hand and tell me there's no God,
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's order there.
There's order. Yeah,
and everything's working.
Things make sense.
Every finger serves a purpose.
Also, when you wrestle someone and they got grip strength,
oh man,
it's such a game changer. Like when they just put that hand on you,
you feel it.
No matter how hard you torque your arm, there's no way of getting.
Not only that, but psychologically, you're already broken.
You're done.
You lost that match before it begins. When you feel that fucking dude grip strength, they're like. And by the way, because that's just a metaphor for the rest of this dude.
Right.
The grip, it just kind of comes out in the grip, but every part of this dude's strong.
Yeah,
all
you can
you
feel
need
his
to know.
history. He's been building fences and
that's right.
doing hard work.
Like Canada should.
Fucking A.
All right. Did we bring it home?
We did.
Let me tell you about concrete, last but not least. There is concrete. It is creatine. Your body makes about half the creatine it needs. The other half comes from your diet, but most American diets are low in creatine-rich foods. That's where concrete comes in patented creatine HCl. Favorite creatine of elite, well-informed athletes. The number one bioavailable creatine and the only microdosing creatine out there. Just one small scoop and per 100 pounds. So if you're a 200-pounder, put a couple scoops in there. Creatine is required for functional energy, and every cell in your brain uses about 20% of the creatine in your body. Immune cells need to protect you, and heart cells need to pump, and lung cells need to breathe. It is concrete. I do it every day. Dr. Drew swears by it as well. It's concrete, right, Dawson?
Take control of your health, both body and mind. Build a better you with Concrete. Register now at con-crete.com/podcast. That's con-cret.com/podcast for a chance to win a $500 Walmart Visa gift card. Available now online and in-store Walmart. Concrete is truly life-changing and performance-enhancing.
Chad and JT's show called Chad and JT Go Deep. All episodes on Netflix as we speak. And the podcast Going Deep with Chad and JT available wherever you listen to finer podcasts. I had that.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it's part of my childhood. Also, Brad Williams as well. Irvine coming up this weekend at the Improv. And until next time, this is Adam Carolla for Brad and Chad and JT and Gina and Bald. Say it. Mahalo.
really, that was it. It was Sunday night Governor's Ball. I'm hanging with like everybody. Like I don't know anybody, but there's Aaron Rodgers and fucking CK and Silverman, all these people. Next day, I'm at the Comedy Store, open mic, eating dollar pizza, hoping I can get 3 minutes at that. That. It was such a grounding thing for me to be like, oh yeah, this is what the game is. Like,